2. Microphone check. I hope there's at least a little bit of lighting, man, so you guys can see me. I don't know. Setup is kind of strange this time around. Trying to protect my neighbors as much as I can. Before anybody gets in, I think it's a Friday night where you guys are, so who knows how this will work out. The lighting is really bad. I do my best. But we are doing an episode of Smoke Your Best Cigars. We have the Lampert Gold Limitada. I don't have the whole name right now, and that's really not the main thing. This cigar was given to me. I think this was given to me by Cigar Hound Dog, and I've been holding on to it for a minute. And y'all know my whole theory about smoking your best cigars, and they don't need to hold on to cigars. So we're gonna light it up. Got a couple things I want to talk about before I start getting into the comments and things like that. Get a couple things off the chest. Y'all know how I do with Smoke Your Best Cigars. So before we go into that detail, I want to talk about this cigar real quick. I find it a really fascinating Connecticut. The cold draws like honey and cereal. It's a really sweet profile, some natural tobacco notes in there. It's supposed to be aged for like 3 years. So if you got a good cigar like this, you're supposed to light it up and enjoy it, right? So that's what we're going to do today. Shouts out to everybody that's joined in, anybody who has hit the like button. I appreciate you. So smoke your best cigars, man. Oftentimes I like to get a little stuff off my chest. Talk for a little bit. So today, to get started, what I want to talk about, we're going to start with a cigar. We got the Lampert. This is an Ecuadorian Connecticut with an Ecuadorian binder. The fillers are Dominican and Peruvian. Pelo Oro, I think. And that's Oro. I think it's going to be white. See, it's a Salomon. I just want to get it started while I talk. I hate these Salomons to start, but I love them when they get a little deeper into the cigar. All right. So the first thing that I kind of want to get into here is like, it's going to be some dark side of the force, some light side of the force. And it's been an interesting week for the kid because we're preparing for the move. I've been working a lot. And I've been preparing to climb Mount Fuji. And I was supposed to do that on Tuesday for me. I think it's Monday for y'all. And the weather is just going to be really bad. So my whole trip just kind of got ruined. The past couple of days have just been beautiful out here. The weather has been absolutely perfect. We're kind of moving in the fall. The summertime is trying to die down a little bit. It's still humid, but the air has been kind of clear. So it's been a beautiful thing to get up on Fuji, and I want to go up there and light up the Eye of the Shark. So that was the goal. But that trip has kind of been put to the side. I ain't gonna be able to do that right now. So I was gonna blog that whole thing, get up there. What up, fam? I was gonna get up there and light up a cigar and just kind of blog it for you guys so you guys can see what that whole journey is like. So at the end of the week, I'm going to try to do that. So give me maybe a week or two. Hopefully I can get that out for y'all. So I'm saying that to say that's been part of the thought process. It's been kind of one of these moments where I just kind of want to get out there and live life and enjoy the last few weeks that I have in this part of Japan. So at my job, there's this kid that's been coming into the job all the time. He was in his 20s, young Navy dude, right? So when he would come in, what up, everybody? I'm gonna talk these little stories real quick, and then I'm gonna chime in with everybody. So Bear with me. Keep rocking with me. Keep hitting that like button. Throw up your comments, chat amongst yourselves. Just kind of feel me for a sec. So the young kid comes into the gym, and really nice kid. And I guess because of my background, I was a little bit guarded, right? He would come in and he would talk to you like he's known you forever. So it wasn't just like I see him for the first time. He was like, "Hey man, what's going on, man? How you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm good, man. What's up?" And he was like, "Man, how you been? What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm good. Everything's cool." He was like, "Man, your family okay? Everybody?" And like just the way he would come on, kind of worried me a bit. I didn't know if the dude was just being like overly nice. I didn't know if he was trying to shake me down. I didn't know like if he had a scheme. I didn't know what's going on. I mean, in Japan, that's kind of a common thing. It's not a Japanese kid. I think he was Puerto Rican. I'm guessing, but he's definitely some form of Afro-Latino, and he had a slight accent, but he was a real just nice kid. So he would come into the gym all the time, and I was joking with my coworkers, like, "Yo, this dude a little too nice, yo. Like, I'm kind of dodging this cat because like nobody's like that nice when you first meet him, and I'm a really nice guy in person. This guy was way nicer than I've ever been to anybody that I'd never met before. So I'm joking with my coworkers, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What's up with this dude? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So they see we sitting at the front desk and we trying to make sure everybody's getting into the gym safely and all that kind of stuff. We checking the IDs and doing the whole nine. And the dude sees me and he gives me like the hugest dap in the world. Like he's coming from back here, coming in with dap like I've known him for 15, 20 years. Like this dude has been like he a cousin or something like that. So I look at all my coworkers like, "See what I'm talking about?" And they're laughing about it. We're joking about it. But the kid comes in enough that everybody knows his face. We were starting to learn his name. And he always had a helmet that he would put at the front desk. Because I guess he had a motorcycle or a scooter or something like that, which is once again is real common in Japan. So it's funny because we were looking at this helmet on a regular basis. And it was kind of a running joke. Whenever we would see the helmet, we were like, "Oh, homeboy gonna be up in here. He can be acting, extra friendly. Yo, check your wallet, check the wallets, check your pockets, da 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 da." We was joking, but it was harmless. We never really meant anything by it. And the dude was a regular, so we could kind of like, we could kind of vibe because it's just, a cool kid coming around, right? One of my coworkers said she had a crush on him and everything, so we would laugh and joke about her having a crush on him. And then she was just like, "Yo, he a little too, friendly." And he was like that with all the girls and everything. He was just like, "Yo, how you doing? How are your kids? What did you do this weekend?" Like all this stuff you would ask people that you kind of getting to know and that you've known for a while. So a few days later, we were at work. I go upstairs, and you always find out stuff at work because, like, I don't watch the news anymore. I don't see a lot of that kind of stuff anymore. So, especially being in Japan, it's hard to get like American news, and I can't understand everything that they say in Japanese. So they were talking about there was an accident outside of the military base, and my wife was telling me the other day, it was like it was traffic and all that kind of stuff. She was like, "Yo, I couldn't get into work. It was so much traffic. It was traffic all over the base. It was just heavy traffic. I don't know what was going on. I can't really get in." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been hearing about that." Get to work, my coworkers was like, "Yo, man, it was somebody just got hit on a bike. It was they were like on a motorcycle or something like that. They got hit, and I think it was two Americans. Somebody was coming out of the Wamble gate, and I guess it was a guy, going on the street, and he got ran over, and they ran over the guy on the bike, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah," it was like both of them are like 20 years old. Next day, they were like, "Yo, the guy that was on the bike died." I was like, "Damn, man, at 20?" It's like, that's crazy. I was like, that, he barely even got started, man. That's heartbreaking. So I'm thinking, when you're in Japan, like the people on the scooters and on the bicycles and stuff, they weave in and out of your cars and all that. And I mentioned to y'all the other day that there was an old guy that didn't want to touch my hand for whatever reason. We know the reason. But he fell over on his bike and it was in the middle of the street. So you kind of expect this kind of stuff to happen. When you see this kind of stuff, so you're almost like expecting, these accidents and things like that. Just because of how they weave in and out, and people drive really slow in Japan. So it's, that's the only thing that prevents a lot of these accidents. Going forward, fast forward, I'm a couple days into work, and this girl pulled out, was like, yo, I'm gonna say the kid's name is Miguel. She was like, yo, you hear about Miguel? I'm like, Miguel, ain't that the kid, that's the real nice kid? She was like, yeah, he was the one that got hit the other day by the car. And I'm like, come on, man. She's like, no shit. She goes to her phone, she pulls it up and pulls up the picture, and it was the super overly nice kid. Coming to find out, he was 24 years old. And I literally just saw him the other day before this happened. Like, he was one of the last people in the gym. And we were just talking to the kid, and he was just like, yeah, I'm going to hang out, and, I just got my workout in. I'm going to go meet some friends, da-da-da-da-da. Just a regular, everyday conversation. And come to find out that this is the kid that gets hit, run over, left under the car, gets to the hospital, and like the medical care here in Japan is not the best, especially on the military base. So it honestly sat me back in my seat, man. My oldest daughter is only 23, about to be 24 in October, and this is a sweet kid, man. And the thing that bothers me about it is, like, I feel like as a 43-year-old man, I'm still kind of taking life for granted. And that's what this whole smoke your best cigars thing is all about, right? That's what this whole like moment of taking the time to reflect and kind of chill and kind of appreciate what you got going on around you, appreciate what this culture is, appreciate these moments, and to kind of think back. And I'm just like, this kid was 24, in the Navy, living in Japan, and he's literally trying to make the best out of his life. And I see Texas, you were saying you were 43 too, man. It's like, shouts out to the 80s babies, man. But you really think once you get to this point that you really kind of understand what this whole life thing is about. You think you kind of understand, how to approach everything. But if y'all could have seen like how just jovial this kid was, like he was just a down to earth kid, and he was sweet. And I know I was giving him a lot of shit for just being like too nice, but honestly, when you think about it, you a 24-year-old kid in another country. Only thing he was trying to do was just make connections with people, make friends, and try to make a vibe. And in my jadedness, I was guarded. And if I really thought about it, man, I probably could have had more in-depth conversations with this kid. Because he would just hang around at the front desk, or he would just kind of hang around in the gym if I'm doing rounds and, just checking on people and stuff like that. He would try to have a little bit of a conversation. Enjoy that Perdomo, man. And it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't give that kid a chance. And it's no telling what I could have bestowed on him, just kind of giving him a little bit of knowledge here, there. And there's no telling what I could have learned from him in that time. And in a way, my own ego kind of got in the way of that. You feel me? And it kind of bothers me that I let my ego get in the way. And I kind of let just being jaded get in the way, man. And There's no telling what his friends thought. I've really been struggling with the concept of mortality lately, and the concept of death and all that kind of stuff too. So that was really like, it kind of hit me kind of hard. But it is a part of growing, man. And it just kind of bothers me that, he didn't get a chance to continue growing. And really, when I think about it, that's all he was trying to do. So that's kind of the dark side of it. Here's the light side. There's another kid that I'm working with at the gym. And me and his pops about the same age. I'm just a little bit younger than his pops. And he's probably like 21 or 22. I think he just turned 22. So he's a real quiet kid, handsome dude, keeps himself in good shape. And he's at a point right now where he's just trying to figure out what direction he's going in. He's getting out there on his feet. He's dating. He's trying to figure out if he can stay in Japan long term, because his time is almost up and he might have to leave and go back to the States. So he and I just kind of talk on a regular basis and just kind of have a good conversation. We just kind of chop it up. And I give him like philosophical advice. I give him dating advice. Shouts out to everybody that hit that like button too. Appreciate y'all. And it's one of those things where it's kind of interesting, where me and him, we just kind of vibe. And if I find new foods in Japan, I go out and get new foods for him. I get new drinks and I bring it to him at work, just to like expanding his palate. His father is a cigar smoker, so I bring his father some cigars. I gave him some La Creme the other day, and we just talk about like why you smoke cigars and the whole point behind smoking cigars and all that, right? So vibing with the kid. Some days we will have like a pull-up contest, and I was like, yo, I ain't gonna do my workout. Let's do some pull-ups. So from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock, let's see how many pull-ups we can do. And I'm thinking, this is a 20-year-old kid, right? I'm not tripping. We get to the end of the day and we sneaking around doing pull-ups and we laughing at each other. We kind of joking around, just having a vibe. And we get to the end of the day, I stop at 100 pull-ups. So I'm like, yo, kid, how many pull-ups you do? And he was like, I don't know if I want to tell you. And I was like, what you talking about, man? He was like, I did 230. I think another one of the dudes is my age kind of snitched me out that I stopped at 100. I'm like thinking I'm cocky. I did 100 pull-ups. And I'm just joking around. I didn't know he was going to go that hard. I didn't think the boy he was going to show me up like that. So it's funny, man, because it's not like we did it at one time. We were just going out through the day. It was like by 9 o'clock, by the time we closed, we had to see how many pull-ups we could do. So I'm going, and I know I could do a decent amount of pull-ups, right? But I'm just kind of playing around. This kid was not playing, bro. He was not playing. He whooped me, right? He schooled me. So light up, man. Light up your cigar. That's what this is all about. So me and this kid just been kind of like hanging out. We talking. He got some relationship issues. We have conversations. And I'm trying to be, and not trying to be, I'm just trying to be like work pops. In a sense, it's like, hey man, when you're there, it's just, this is a good kid. So the other day, he tells me that he got some shoes that he's trying to get rid of. We got the same size shoe. So I was like, let me check out the shoes, man. I'm thinking he's just going to show me a picture. So last night, he brings the shoes, and they're not really my style. They were some really cool Nikes, but they're not Nikes that I would wear. So he brings the shoes to work, and we close up, and we had just been talking all day, and we had been vibing. And at the end of the day, I could tell he was kind of in a mood, right? He was working out. We closing up shop, and he's still in the gym working out. And you can see on his face that like something was weighing on him. But I didn't ask him today. Normally I'd be like, yo, what's going on, man? Somebody peeling the cornflakes or something like that. Like, what's going on with you? Why you mad? What's up? Shouts out to everybody hitting that like button too. I didn't do this today. I just let him work. So at the end of the day, he was like, yo, man, I brought those shoes for you. I was like, bet. When we get up out of here, let's go check them out. So I walk into his car. He showed me the shoes, and I'm like, yo, these ain't for me. But I appreciate you going out your way, just, trying to do something for an old man. Yo, you looking out for me, man. I appreciate you. And he was like, nah, man, you've been looking out for me, man. It's the least that I could do. So he put the shoes away, and I reached out my hand to give him some dap, and I dap him up, and he pulled me in for a hug. And honestly, man, in the moment right now, I'm kind of touched by it, because like the moment, and I was thinking about it, I was like, after what happened to the Miguel kid, and just having that time that I didn't waste a moment with this young dude, man, it kind of meant a lot to me, just to see that he appreciated the relationship that's just kind of grown over time. But that's just working together. And I'm kind of looking at him and my son in the same way. My son is 10, about to be 10. My oldest daughter is 23. And you don't really always know what value you have on a day-to-day basis. But on a constant basis, as men in general, there's so much hyper-masculinity. Like everybody got to be tough all the time, and everybody got to be hardcore. And I'm watching these dudes like talk to their kids a certain way, and like they trying to boss up on their kids and trying to make their kids tough all the time. Like, yo, man, you ain't no little girl. You ain't this, that, and the third. You got to be tough. You got to, and I came up like that. I came up in the environment with all the people trying to make sure that I was harder than the next person. I was rougher than the next person. And, the way, a black man smiles is with a straight face type thing. And you see this across a lot of cultures in general. Like you see this across a lot of people that's doing that. Shouts out to everybody hitting that like button, man. I appreciate y'all for joining in. But in that moment, he's raised that way too. And just having that conversation with his dad, his dad is always trying to make sure he's the man in the house, make sure he's tough. But for him to let his guard down for that moment and just bring it in for a hug, the shit made my night, bro. It really made me feel some type of way, man. I drove home just thinking like, I really rock with this kid, man. He really is a good kid. And he really just trying to find his way. And if something had happened to him, like happened to Miguel, man, I would be sick. I would be disgusted. But at least in this one moment, man, it just made me feel like, yo, I made a difference with this kid's life. When I move away in a month or so, hopefully he'll remember that, yo, he always got somebody that got his back. It don't matter whether I'm in Japan. It don't matter whether I'm going to be back in the States or whatever. He got another dude in his life that's going to have his back. And I'm never going to judge him for, how he's feeling and his emotions when he's dating and being nervous around women and all this kind of stuff, man. It's just good to have like somebody that, when you got somebody that's older than you, that's in your corner, or when you got somebody that's younger than you, that kind of shows you like how much growing you need to do. And really take a time to reflect on all the lessons that you learn in life. Y'all feel me? You understand where I'm coming from? Like this. It was just a weird week to kind of see all this stuff kind of come to fruition. And it made me look at myself differently. It made me look at my relationship with my kid differently, man. I honestly came home just to give my son a hug the other night. Just like, we don't know how valuable it is to have just like people that around you that's caring, not trying to break you down. They actually trying to build you up. So, I don't know, man. I just like, when I do smoke your best cigars, man, it's my chance to reflect. And I almost did this video where I didn't have it as a live, where I didn't have a chance to interact with y'all. It was just going to be me talking to the camera. But I got a little bit of this Saturday to kind of kick back and chill. And I just wanted to kind of tell y'all about that, man. Just kind of see what y'all thought. Kind of get that off my chest at the same time, too. Let's see what's up with a couple of these comments. So Texas said, our 13-year-old twins are having a hard time with kids in school about their shoes. I'm like, shit's still happening. And you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, Texas. Like, I didn't think that was still a thing. I didn't think the sneaker, but this hype beast culture and the way that things have come with, kids just hyping up sneakers and Jordans are still a thing. Kids are still trying to get the new Kyries and the new KDs. They're trying to get the new Stephs and all that. And I think it's just human condition, man, that people just build up on hierarchy. You know, they just like they got to find some way to feel like who's the top dog, who's leading the pack, who's going to be the leader, and who's going to be the toughest and who's going to be the strongest. Like King of the Hill is always going to be a thing. I just think that's just a human way, you know. And we always try to figure out some kind of pecking order. But the hype beat culture and the sneakers, hype beast culture and the sneaker culture is still here, man. It's still a major thing. So I didn't know if it was as strong. It's not like it was in the 80s and 90s, but it's definitely still a thing. I see CK say I've been waiting to try that Avo. Hope it's tasty. Good luck, man, because Avo can be kind of hit and miss. Like when they good, they good. When they not, it can be hit and miss for real. Yeah, Mixtape said it's mad tough for youngins nowadays. It is tough, man. And the thing is, it's like financially out here, it's hard. And you got so many more options than we had in the 80s and 90s. But getting your opportunity with those options is different and trying to figure out which way to go. Because we had a whole culture, honestly, between the boomers and the Gen X's like myself, we left a real major gap for these kids. And, you know, we left a whole lot of information out. We left a financial gap. We ruined the economy. Like we set it up, you know, and we kind of did this whole ego thing. We set it up so these kids didn't really have a chance, man. And that didn't really start to turn around a little bit until the millennials started to kind of feel like, yo, what? Y'all really set me up. They really got to make their own path. And I kind of took it upon myself like, yo, I want to be, you know, I don't want to be that old dude that's always talking about rap and hip hop or talk about my clothes and all that kind of stuff. I really try to, you know, talk about old movies and stuff, but I really try to have a good conversation with these kids. Because a lot of people that I work with are like 19 to 24. And it's me and a couple other old heads that work in there, man. So I really try to be the one that they can come to and they can rely on and not feel like I'm just trying to beat them in the head, you know, and trying to whip them into shape or laugh at them and clown on them. I really try to help. CK said facts. I only really like two Avos. I always mix up AVO, Avo. Sorry about that. I do that all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's a couple more out there that's pretty good. Come around, man. Hold up, man. I gotta help my son out. You ain't got no clothes on, man. What you doing? Kid. Love you, bro. So yeah, man, you know, it's kind of a wild thing with those Avos. I'm still messing up. It's still Avos. But you really got to go through and find which one you got. I don't know if you said earlier which one you had. Eric said, man, housing alone for these young cats, you know, they're in a tough position. Dude, between healthcare and housing, it's they're gonna have a problem, bro. And it's just like just paying rent right now is crazy. Like the amount that they got to pay for rent, and it ain't had nothing to do with inflation, man. It was just pure greed. Everybody went through that whole like investment things, like you got to own property or whatever. You can make good money, you know, by renting to people, and then they just spiked everything up, and just the cost of living, especially if you're in a major city. I don't know how these kids gonna do it. And if they're trying to go somewhere to get a good degree or try to get in a good trade or try to work somewhere and they're going to get in a place where things are booming or they're trying to be entrepreneurs. Basically, like, you know, starting from the millennials on, you almost got to live like 4 to a house, man. It's crazy. It's really nuts, man. I feel bad, yo. I was telling them we had the best music, man. I've been joking with these kids about the music. And like, I was telling them like everything that they got right now that they listen to is either Future, Migos, Drake, or Travis Scott. And everybody stems from that vine. And they were like, nah, man, that ain't true. That ain't true. And I go play their music and then I go find a song from 10 to 15 years ago, and it's a song that sounds almost exactly like it. And you should see the look on their face when they're just like, they're like, oh, I was like, yo, I keep telling you, he's like, nah, man, this dude named Nav X, man, you ain't never gonna find anybody just like him. I go and I find Travis Scott. It took me about a week, but I got it. I go find Travis Scott, and boom, they're doing the exact same thing. It's the same melody in the beat, and everything is just recycled. So they're learning, man. So I've been trying to school them to some old school music too. I've been putting them on the Bobby Brown New Edition, Janet Jackson, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and Rakim. I've been playing some Nas for them. Played some Ghostface for them the other day. They didn't get Ghostface. They didn't understand. Ghostface was a little bit too over their head. MF Doom was a little bit too over their head because they don't listen to lyrics anymore. They don't care about it. They kids talk bars because they heard us saying like, "Oh, this cat got bars." You know, Eminem, or they think Eminem is like the greatest MC ever, but they don't really listen to lyrics anymore. They're just listening to the vibe. So I had to explain to them like, "Yo, we got some vibe music out there." So I showed them some Tribe Called Quest. I showed them Diggable Planets. So like I was giving them some music. You know, I try to school them. Man. I try to be a good mentor, old head at the gym. Eli, what up, man? Thanks for showing love to everybody in here. Eric said, that being said, Nas has been dropping some amazing albums. Yeah, him and Hit Boy been getting busy, man. And it's cool to see Nas like out there and, you know, they have energy again. Because the funny thing about Nas is like for me, when I think about Nas, Illmatic is of course a classic. To me, It Was Written might have been his best album, trying to like bridge the gap, right? And then Nas kind of lost his way a little bit. Like he was doing the Puff era, and you know he was doing the Hype Williams and all that kind of stuff like that too. And it just got kind of weird. And then he tried to do it again with Stillmatic. Stillmatic was good. And I didn't really get into Godson and Street's Disciple and all that. I wasn't really feeling that during that area. That was like early 2000s, wasn't it? Like 2005, 2006. But then he did Life Is Good. And that might be one of my favorite Nas albums. And I want to like before Life Is Good, he did Distant Relatives. And Distant Relatives is really a Damian Marley album. It's Bob Marley's youngest son's album. And that's a fantastic album. But you can tell Nas didn't feel comfortable when he was rapping. He didn't feel comfortable on that album. And it felt like a lot of his bars was forced, and it just didn't seem like it. And Damian was hitting the peak at that time. It was just like it was a different level what he was doing musically. So when that kind of changed around, Nas did Life Is Good. And Life Is Good is just like a special album. You see his maturity came around. And he was kind of getting stuff off his chest. But after that, it didn't, like he did the End album and all that kind of stuff. And it didn't really feel like Nas really cared about music as much. Whatever happened with Hit Boy and whatever he was feeling, Nas is having fun rapping right now. Like he loves what he's doing, and that's the best part about it. That's like I haven't really been have a chance to like sit back with music, but the songs that I've heard, you can tell that Nas is really like enjoying rapping again, man. And it's somebody put a battery in his back, and I love to see it. So the throwback problems are like $300 now. Like anything that's really good right now that's nostalgic, yo, they hyping up the price on that shit, man. It's crazy. See, I know a lot of people that have normalized living with roommates well into their 20s and 30s because salaries don't add up. And it's commonplace. If you're like in San Francisco, if you're in San Diego, if you're in New York, if you're in Jersey, if you're in Chicago, if you're in any of the major cities, Houston, even Atlanta, because Atlanta used to be the spot like everybody was going to migrate to because the prices were affordable, through the roof now. Go to Houston after Katrina, through the roof right now. It's like there's nowhere you can go. So everybody's like used to living on top of each other. And Japan is like that as well now too. With so many people like living with their parents. And I talked about, I think on the last live, where there's this age gap where it's a whole generation of people who are out of work. And you see what happened to the Japanese yen recently. And it's only a matter of time before the US dollar is going to do the same thing, man, unless something really bad is going to happen. It's kind of scary for anybody that's in their 20s right now. I'm terrified for them. So Eric said I had 3 little girls under 10. I feel like they're going to have no choice but to live with me. I'm hoping that's not the case, man. But we kind of did the weird thing with the investment, and we did this weird thing with the cryptocurrency and all that kind of stuff, man. And a lot of people lost a lot of money really fast, and somebody else got rich. And then just like the wage gap is insane. I'm hoping that's not the case, man. I'm hoping somebody's smart enough to figure out a way to turn this around and make it different. But I don't know. I hope that's not the case. But it's really not a bad thing to have family units back together again. That might be a really good thing. It's just, it's tough for an individual because you can't really spread your wings if you're living with your parents. But at the same time, everybody support it. And you know that the saying that it takes a village. So it's kind of a weird scenario, man. It's just, it all depends on how we work it out. So 80s and 90s, the pre-internet era where kids played all day and was mad when we had to come in. It's kind of a weird thing, man, because I got to force my kids to go out and play. You saw my son just came up just a minute ago, and I'm basically just, I gave him the code so he could just get on his phone for a longer time. We were restricting that time frame for a while, but while I'm up here doing this, I'm going to let him rock and do his thing. I actually stayed home a lot more from work so I can spend more time with him to take him out to play basketball and actually get on their scooters and go out and play outside because they're not built for it. They're not used to it. It's a weird thing. You know, like my daughter spends time with, she has a cousin twin. They're only like 4 days apart. And her cousin lives in New York. And they spend all day playing Roblox together, talking through the portal. So it's crazy. They're basically talking to each other on the screen, one in Japan, one in New York, and they play video games together. I couldn't even fathom that when I was, growing up in the 80s, man. That never was a thing. You had to go out on the block and you had to go out into the neighborhood and meet up with the homies. Hey, tomorrow we're going to meet up by, the clubhouse at whatever o'clock. Make sure you're there. And then so-and-so in there, yo, Johnny ain't outside. Let's go get Johnny. You go knocking on Johnny's door. Boom, 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 boom. All that kind of stuff. They don't know that vibe, man. It's a weird thing. Texas said, remember when Life After Death and Tupac albums came out same summer? Was that same summer? Because I think Life After Death was 94, right? Was that 94? And I think Pac, All Eyes on Me was like 95, 96, I think. I'm doing this off the top of the head. I ain't sure. But it could have been Me Against the World. It could have been Life After Death and Me. No. Life After Death was not. I'm thinking of Ready to Die. So my bad. So yeah, Life After Death, and they were double albums. I think it was around the same time. I think you're right about that, man. It was a weird time because it's funny that you mentioned that, Texas, because my uncle was a DJ, and my uncle ran a record shop in my small town. So it was right in the middle of downtown, and my cousin used to run that shop. And I remember running into the store. And I remember when I wasn't a big Tupac fan at the time, by the way. I remember when he had Life After Death, and I remember playing that album for the first time and being blown away. I still think Ready to Die is a better album, but what Biggie was doing on Life After Death, using everybody's flow, using, Bone Thugs and Harmony's flow, using the Lox's flow, and he was just changing the style up with every song. Like, it was just impressive the way he did that. It showed how much talent that dude had at just 25 years old doing that. It's just kind of crazy to me, man. I also remember when Pac got killed, because a lot of my friends were like diehard Pac fans, and this kid named Saquon, we went to a football game, and I remember finding out because I'm going to the football game and I see Saquon and he looking like he saw a ghost, man. He was broken, and I was like, what happened? He was like, man, I just heard on the radio that Pac died. Like, it's a different time, man. It's a different time. Like, you go on the internet now, you go on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call that junk, or you go on Threads or whatever, and you see somebody picture, and you worry that you're like, that person dead or not when you see their picture, because everything comes out so fast. It's a different time, man. So Eric said to give high school kids some credit, the real hip hop ones love Griselda. Yeah, it's a couple out there that really appreciate Griselda, man. But you know what's funny about that is, like, the Griselda cats is about our age. Especially Benny the Butcher. Butcher old, man. But it's good that there are some kids that's gonna still appreciate lyrics. But right now, man, hip hop is in a weird state, man. I don't, I remember Most Def saying like, people always talk about uh, hip hop like it's some monster living in the woods or whatever. But really, hip hop is us, and whatever we're gonna be is what hip hop is gonna be. And I just don't know what our culture is right now, And these young cats, they ain't really got a culture of their own. It's kind of a weird thing. He said his son loves. Hey, you talking about NBA YoungBoy? Yeah, all the young cats at my job like go hard for NBA YoungBoy. I can't get into him, but I feel it. But he's like I think he sold like 11. I think he sold like 11 million albums or something like that. Because we was going back, I was talking because this young kid at work tried to tell me that Outkast is trash, and I was like, what, bro, what? And he was like, yeah, NBA YoungBoy better than Outkast. So like, it got in a whole weird thing with that conversation. But that little kid, he just talked just to talk. He ain't the brightest bulb that's in the box, man. So Lost Tapes was fire. Lost Tapes 2 was fire. I like the young cats like NBA. I can't really get into NBA real heavy. And I know people like Lil Baby. Lil Baby's solid. I'm trying to think of like who are these young rappers that I can get into. I can probably listen to them guys a little bit more than anybody. There was a couple guys that was on Kanye's Donda album that I thought was solid. But it ain't anybody that I'm really like jumping out the window like I'm trying to listen to these kids because nobody's really like rapping like that. I like JID. JID solid. He can rap. I like that little kid too. So there's a couple of young cats out there. I don't even consider like Tyler the Creator young anymore. I don't consider what's the good kid, Mad City Cat? I can't think of his name right now. Kendrick. I don't consider him young anymore. I was joking with them. They were like, "What about J. Cole?" I'm like, "J. Cole, damn near my age, man." I said he ain't in y'all generation. J. Cole is older now too. So it's a few cats out there. So you get into Japanese city pop. Actually, I got a homeboy who just moved back to the United States, man, and he put me on the city pop. And the city pop is like, it's basically like 80s synth music. It's a little bit of jazz. It's a little bit of 80s pop in there, and put a little disco. And it's a good vibe, man. And so like when I'm chilling, sometimes I used to go to his crib. He would just spin records, and we would sit there and talk, drink some coffee. He made coffee all the time, and we would sip tea, and we would just sit there and vibe with city pop. Yeah, I do rock with some city pop, man. They say NBA drops like 6 albums a year. So much of it isn't good, but when it hits, it hits. And that's the thing that I was telling them, like, because they don't really listen. This young generation don't listen to albums anymore. So the whole concept now is that you just drop music. You just give music. You just give music. And it started with that SoundCloud, and when the mixtapes changed from like the Tony Touch mixtapes and the DJ Drama and K Slay and DJ Clue, and they started with 50 Cent, where it was like it's not a mixtape anymore. You just making albums and you calling them mixtapes. And then Lil Wayne got into the Squad and the Drought and all that kind of stuff, and it switched over. So all of these kids are basically the children of Lil Wayne, right? And they just throw out music at this point now. So nobody's putting together. The last like real cohesive hip hop album to me was Good Kid, Mad City, and that was like the last album. Now these dudes just put music together, and it really doesn't have a concept. It doesn't have much of a flow. It's just like whatever music they got, they just put it out there and they just let it go. And then they go based off of whatever their Instagram vibe is, or they go off of whatever their TikTok vibe is at the moment. And that's what they just piecemealing together. So you can just throw out, if you're just making a bunch of music, you record with your engineer, you just record song after song, and you put that together. Yo, we got 18 tracks, we got 22 tracks. All right, that's my album. Put a cool cover on it and send it out there. It's a weird thing, man. So I was asking these kids, like, what's your favorite album right now? I was like, I don't know. I like this album because it got this song on it. But they're not playing it straight through. But there's no hard copies. They don't care about vinyl. unless they're just doing it to be collectors on some hype beast shit. They never had the cassettes. They never had the disc like we had. So that hard copy doesn't matter to them. So when albums are released now, it's just like, just enough to keep somebody's name out there, and that's all that really matters. And the rest is like going on tour or just trying to get views and trying to get on these reality shows and all that kind of stuff. So the album doesn't matter anymore, man. It's kind of a weird thing. So Joey Badass, G.I.D., Kendrick, Kanye are huge with the high school students. And Wayne too. And and they respect those cats, but they're not really into it. It's like, they're not digging into it the way we used to dig into, Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? You got every member from Wu-Tang. You trying to figure out everybody and who's doing what. And it's like, oh, Jay Electronica got a new verse or Doom got a new album. They're not digging into it the same way, but they appreciate, some of the freestyles and stuff like that. They not really. I try to, give this kid the Black Thought the 10-minute freestyle, and he didn't have enough of it to really sit back and listen to the bars. Like, there's no way he could catch all the stuff that Black Thought was throwing out at him. He was just like, dude, anybody can rap like that. And I'm like, huh? What? So it's just a different world, man. The way they listen to music is completely different. Yeah, man. The days when we just riding the bikes around and all that, man. These kids, I don't know. I'm not in the States anymore, so maybe I'm out of touch. But these kids around here don't really go hard like that. But it's good to see them at the gym all the time now. These kids can hoop. I got to give them that. They can hoop, and they always got on the new James Hardens. They got on the new Mellows. They got on the new Jordans and whatever, and they out there hooping, man. So it's kind of good. A man said he lighting up the 88 Añejo. That's some good smoking right there, man. We were just talking about lighting up the Añejos the other day. I think Cigar Alchemist John just lit one up the other day. He was really enjoying that, man. You ain't even got to have a shark, man. Any of those Añejos, they light up really good. He said it's so far so good with the Avo. Yeah, this Limitada got kind of a loose draw too, man. Outcast or Criminalized is absolute classic, man. The Lampert, man, is decent. I was hoping it was going to be a lot more flavorful than it is. It's a very mild Connecticut for sure, and it's very soft flavors. It's not really strong. I'm not really getting a lot. I get more on the retro head than anything, to be honest with you. Honestly, it probably could have dry boxed a little bit longer, but it's not bad though. Man, don't get your hopes up on Wemby, man. I know you a Spurs fan, but don't get your hopes up on that one, man. First of all, you just gotta hope that man stays healthy. And I think he got popped, so I think he got a good mentor. But I think they got too much pressure on that kid. So we're gonna see what happens with that. Yeah, Outkast is definitely one of the greatest, man. And it's just, as far as the way they change music, and anybody saying that they trash is just crazy to me. But this kid, he really is just one of those kids. He just say anything to just try to see if he can get under your skin and just try to get a reaction to you. Said he can get down with Moneybag Yo, ESTG. I don't know enough about ESTG, man. I've been seeing his name pop up. T Grizzly too. He ain't really moved me like that. You know what? I like Lil Uzi Vert. I can't front on this kid. I think Lil Uzi Vert and what's the girl that everybody, not Meg, the real pretty girl, man. When she came out, she had like the French fries in her nose. She was doing the moo cow, whatever. I can't think of what her name is. She wear all the makeup all the time. Like, she might change her hair. She shaved the eyebrows off. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I can't think of the girl's name, but I think she and Vert are some of the most talented young artists that are out there. Just being able to make any style of music, whether they want to rap, they want to sing, whether they want to go into techno, whether they want to do hip hop, they can do a little bit of everything. And I think they really need to give their propers for how talented and how diverse they are. Because somebody like Meg is probably like one of my favorite rappers that's out right now, because the chick can just rap, but she's kind of one-dimensional with her rapping. But when you got these other artists that can do so much more, it's kind of crazy, man. I appreciate them, and I think Uzi is one of those kids that can do that. He can do a little bit of everything. He said, anybody like metal? I listen to a little bit of metal. I'm not like super heavy into it. I like Slipknot. I like Pantera. I like Pantera a lot. That's usually who I go to. But I feel like it's somebody else that I listen to that I'm kind of drawing a blank on right now. But I did like Slipknot. I love Pantera. Pantera might be my favorite out of all of them. I can't get into that rap rock, man. I can't do like Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that. That's not. I really couldn't get into them. I do like Red Hot Chili Peppers though. I did love Chili Peppers, but I don't really consider them like real hardcore or anything like that. Rage Against the Machine. I love Rage. Zach De La Rocha was my guy. So Audio Slave. Audio Slave. I used to get into heavy when Zach De La Rocha went off to do his own thing, and they got Chris Cornwell and the band from Rage Against the Machine, and they did Audio Slave. I used to kill those Audio Slave albums. Queens of the Stone Age. I was rocking with Queens of the Stone Age real heavy at one period. All right, yo, Eric, appreciate you coming through, homeboy. I'm probably a little bit behind, man, but thank you. Yeah, Massey Ash, Black Thought, Royce. That's those are some real MCs right there. And like I try to introduce these kids to that, and they just don't. They don't get it, man. What do you say? He's tall too. Wemby is like 10 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. I'm guessing he'll be healthy for 3 seasons. I don't know, man. I'm not wishing injury on Wemby, man. I don't want to do that at all. And honestly, like in my heart, I don't think he's gonna get injured. But it's gonna take him a time. It's gonna Doja Cat, word up, yeah. But it's gonna take a lot of time for him to really get healthy and get strong enough to really compete. I'm hoping that he can do like Kevin Durant, where he can still stay slim and he can still move and still be able to get to his spots and put up some really good shots. Scorp said Black Moon, Smith and Wesson, Ruck and Rock. Dude, when I was 19, from about 16 to 19, you couldn't tell me anything about Boot Camp Click. That was like my favorite group at the time. Strain Wonder, Buckshot, Ruck and Rock. And plus, when we were having this heavy voice, man, I thought I was rocking this monster for real. You couldn't tell me shit. I could rumba, Strain, gun clapper number. One on the set, man, we cut you like lumber. Still play the back in my thunder gear. Down to my underwear. Make all your motherfuckers wonder where I come from. Like, I still know the lyrics off the top of my head, dude. I really thought I was with them cats. I thought I was boot camp for real. That's some crazy shit. I can't believe I just did that on camera. I said, can't blame the youth. They aren't built to catch all the balls. They really aren't, though, man. They listen to vibes, Michael. That's their whole thing. They listening to just how the music is flowing, and they they doing their little TikTok dances and shit. They don't care about bars, and everybody mumble raps. You got all the people after Lil Wayne and that generation from Future on, Migos, they just mumble. So they don't care about bars, man. That don't really mean a thing to them. Book of Ryan was brilliant. Book of Ryan was really brilliant, man. And he had a couple albums where he was really kind of putting together some really good raps, man. And Royce was on another level for a minute. And he kind of got caught up with Lupe Fiasco and some other things. He kind of fell off for a minute. But I still like to hear Royce, man. So Texas says, just let Wemby play in between the point lines and just check up threes. Nah, man, he can't do that at that side. He got to have some post moves, man. You got to be that tall. He going to have to really be able to play from the elbow. He going to have to really be able to have some post moves, be able to turn around on both shoulders, and then be able to kind of run out to the line and stretch and hit the corner three. And it's going to be cool to be able to see him, get the ball, rebound on the other end, and be able to run up the floor and push the pace and do like a Kevin Durant or Draymond Green type of thing at his size. It'll be really beautiful to see him be able to play like that, man. Man, I like seeing what Anthony Edwards is doing right now, man, and Austin Rivers. I've been only catching bits and pieces of those USA games, but I love the maturation of those guys during the off season, and just kind of seeing like we're at a point right now where Bron is old, KD is getting old, Steph is getting old. They're gonna still be able to play for a few more years, but we needed a new generation of players that's really gonna be able to come out there and ball out. And John Morant was supposed to be that. Anthony Edwards, what's to do? Halliburton, we really needed some new cats to kind of fill in the gap and kind of keep the league going. And I think they really gonna be able to do it, man. It's some good ballers out there. I love seeing them kind of mature and really kind of get into it. And I got to be honest with y'all, this ain't my favorite. God damn, I just asked myself. I got to say that this isn't my favorite Lampert, man. The Don Patrons is like, I like them. They're good. And I know Matt probably going to kill me on this one, but especially after I did that last top 10, and when I was doing the flavor bombs, that's been kind of the mode for me, man. I'm kind of really enjoying these cigars to like really, jump out to you with a lot of different flavors and complexities, and you don't have to look for a lot of flavors on this one. Like, I can smoke this cigar and it was not bad. It doesn't smoke bad. I haven't had any real construction issues, especially with this being a Salomon. Nothing is really standing out to me. But then again, it's like there are other Lamperts out there that got so much more flavor. So honestly, I love what Lampert is doing, but Principle has kind of been where I want to go right now. Like, Principle has really been the one that's been a standout. Like, I will smoke this and I will have it like if I'm chilling. But honestly, I feel like it needs more to pair with it. I don't know if Michael is still in here. I don't know if he ever paired anything with the Lampert Don Patron. Let me know, Michael, if you're still around, man. I would love to hear if you got any kind of insights on that. Let's see what we said. Chet Holmgren is another good stick, man. I'm kind of curious to see, because this is really going to be Chet Holmgren's. This is really going to be Chet Holmgren's rookie year, because he didn't get to play last year. And that OKC team is going to be crazy. That team is a young, up-and-coming team. They got like a lot of really good players, and they got a leader with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So to put him with a really good wing like Chet, and if Chet has some time in the offseason to really gel with his team, that could really be a beautiful thing, man. I want to see how that goes down, man. And I love to see these super tall cats that can play pretty much damn near any position. It's kind of awesome. Texas said, I went out on a limb yesterday and had the acid true grit. Good on you for that one. I don't want no pause up there. I love the fact that y'all chopping it up without me about that. That's real cool. Ty said the Padron 10th anniversary champagne is a good smoke. I absolutely love that cigar, bro. I love that cigar. And I've been talking about Padron a lot lately. Not Padron, but Perdomo. Perdomo, pardon me. Sorry, I got Padron on the brain for the last couple videos. Perdomo. That 10th anniversary is excellent. And once again, it's the same thing. You're getting a Connecticut like that, like this one, but it has so much more flavor to it. And that's the thing. Like, I could have easily put that one up there for a flavor bomb as well too. I'm kind of excited about this season, this NBA season, Texas, just because I feel like it's a wild card for all the different teams that are out there. Like, I really don't know who is going to be the front runner, who's going to be the best team. The shake-up with the players is not done. Dame Lillard hasn't moved at all yet. Zion is trying to say that he's coming back. I don't know if he's going to be able to play a whole season. But I like the Pelicans if they can be a whole team. That's a young team that if they got their shit together, they can be dangerous. OKC that we just mentioned is a really young upstart team. Sacramento is going to be dangerous. The Pacers might even be a problem. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of really good, sneaky teams that can come out. Boston is still going to be an issue. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with Kristaps Porzingis. He's the original unicorn. If he can stay healthy, they're going to be dangerous as well too. You never know what Miami is going to do. I really think he's going to be in Miami, yo. I really think Dame Lillard is going to be in Miami. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know what the holdup is. And when you got teams that you expect to be great, like Golden State, they got a lot of changes that they got to make. And then you got to think about the 76ers. I don't know what the 76ers. It's going to be a soap opera. I've been trying to tell everybody that James Harden is going to be a problem, man, and he is a problem. So I can go on and on with all these teams. So this year is going to be kind of crazy to see. Just forget about the Hawks, man. Don't even think about the Hawks. they this is not an organization that knows how to build a winning team. Unfortunately, they might get lucky, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It's too many good teams. Milwaukee is still dangerous. So let's see. Ricardo said, got some rapper unraveling and trying to take the bands off of this Abo. Yeah, I mean, Abo, sorry. That kind of thing happens sometimes, man. I kind of feel like unraveling is more frustrating to me when the cigar is unraveling itself at the seams, or if it's cracking and breaking like some of those Placencia Zodiacs and stuff like that. It gets frustrating to me when they put the sticker on and they got so much pectin up there that it causes it to rip. That's not necessarily a rolling issue, a construction issue to me. That's just like, that's kind of, it was like a, not user error, but it was kind of, it's still kind of a construction issue with the manufacturer. But that's just kind of a mistake of a person gluing on a sticker rather than how the cigar was constructed. It just kind of sucks that sometimes it can really ball your whole cigar. And that kind of sucks, man. Yeah, and it was only a matter of time, Texas, before San Antonio got in a rebirth. I don't know what's going to happen when Pop decides to retire because he can't keep going but for so long. But as of right now, if they get these young upstarts and they can get a cohesive team, they're going to be dangerous again. But they always, Spurs always go through cycles like that. And DeJounte Murray was a damn good player, but it's not Atlanta's fault. Atlanta, it's just, I don't think Trey is the best leader. And I don't think DeJounte is a leader. And they never have a coach that's a leader. Their front office, so that team is kind of cursed until they can get a true leader on that squad, man. It's kind of a tough position to be in because they got the talent. They just don't have the leadership. Man, I would be so pissed if Giannis went to the Lakers, man. I don't even want to talk about that. I would be so pissed. That wouldn't even be funny, man. I would be hot. Even though there is rumors about him going to my team, I think he would be a better fit with the Golden State Warriors. But for me, it would just be a personal vendetta if he went to the Lakers. Because that's my second favorite player, and he's playing on the Lakers. I would probably kick a whole lot of holes in a lot of TVs. That would piss me off, man. Jeremy Sochan is going to be good. Yeah, I like that kid too. Am I in the sneakers at all? I am in the sneakers. I do like sneakers. I hate sneaker culture right now. I despise sneaker culture. And that's what I was telling the story about the young kid that was at work. We were talking sneakers, and it's another dude that's a little bit younger than me. He and I talk sneakers all day. And, right now what I'm trying to get, I'm a lot different than everybody else. I don't really try to get what's hype out there. I just get what I like. And I'm really particular about the Jordans that I wear. If they're not like OG colors, if they're not OG colorways, then I'm really not into them. I'm trying to get the OG Chicago number 2s. I'm trying to get some OG number 1s. I'm trying to get some OG number 4s and number 5s. And it depends on whatever the OG colorways of those, I want them, especially the black joints. But that's really what I'm looking at right now. They just released some new black Jordan number 2s that look sick. Them things are so crazy. I kind of like what Wade is doing right now with those Chinese sneakers. I like Mellow shoes. All the Mellow shoes look really good. Lil Mellow, not Mellow. Lil Mellow. I like his shoes. They're pretty hot right now. I don't really rock with the James Hardens like that. Paul George shoes always look good when they come out. KD probably got one of the best lines that's out there. And as much as it pains me to say it, I like the LeBron 20s. I thought the LeBron 20s was fire too. Let's see. Yeah, I know about that Luka trade, man. But but you know what's kind of funny about that is Luka isn't a good leader either, and that's why they don't really go that far. So I'm kind of curious to see what that thing is going to be with him and why can't I think of the dude's name, man? Kyrie. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what, now that they had an all season together, I'm kind of curious to see what that team is going to be like. But neither one of them are good leaders, so I still think it's going to be a problem. Ty, you were saying you wear Crocs right now, man. Like, I hated on Crocs for the longest time. And a couple of years ago, we were in Tokyo. I think we were in Shibuya. And there was a whole thing full of these dope ass Crocs. And my wife got some for herself and got some for the kids. And she was like, you want me to buy you a pair right now? And I was like, nah, man, I ain't wearing no Crocs. I'm so pissed that I didn't get those Crocs. Because right now, man, y'all see, like, usually like in my workout clothes, I'm in my leisure wear, and it would just be so much easier for me to just slide into some Crocs right now, just keep it pushing. I would love to do that. I got some Hirachis right now that I've been rocking like crazy. I need to get another pair of Hirachis. I love those. It was like the OG, and they were white, black, and gray. They were kind of sick. Kind of wore those into the ground though. Yeah, man, they are stat stuffers, man. And like and it's like you can play and can hit big shots, but then when it comes to the playoffs, they don't really go anywhere. And so I ain't really into all of that. If you know, you know, man. What up, man? Glad to have you in here. Shouts out to everybody that's joined in. Shouts out to everybody that's hit that like button, man. I appreciate y'all. Hey, dude, even when I'm home, because I'm home a lot now too, I can't go barefoot. I gotta have socks on. I'm just one of them people. I don't like to be barefoot at all. That's just a weird fact about me. Like, I can't stand being barefoot, yo. I don't like sleeping barefoot. I don't like walking around the house barefoot. I hate going outside barefoot. I'm just I can't stand it. I don't like. I love the beach. I wear shoes at the beach. I don't like sand on my feet, man. I'm just one of them weird people, man. I just don't. I don't like it. I never liked that shit. Yeah, man. Scope. Same way, bro. I used to hate on Crocs, man. I don't talk junk about Crocs at all, and I gotta get a pair. I know I'm way late. I know I'm way behind, but I gotta have a pair, man. Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna relight this. Trying to relight this cigar. Anyway, what y'all lighting up, man? What y'all been smoking on today? What's been keeping y'all attention? Anything I know about? Anything like in the top tens that y'all haven't seen me talk about? Any cigars reviews that I haven't talked about, or just any cigars that I haven't kind of gone into? It's amazing, like how many different options that we got out here, man. That I feel like I'm kind of missing the boat, and I try to get in as much as I can. I've been trying to do like the top tens and the bias guys to get people's attention. So, and I've been trying to do more reviews. I hope y'all noticed that, man. That I was trying to do more like actual reviews. They don't really go anywhere. People don't really care about the reviews as much anymore. Honestly, it's the shorts and the top tens is really what's been taking off. If you know, said I can't walk around barefoot. It seems dirty to me. House shoes, slippers. It's that too, man. But it's also a sensation thing for me, man. I just don't like my feet on surfaces like that. I don't know. I feel cozy in my socks and shit, in my house shoes. Word up. I feel you. Yeah, man. You know how it is, man. It's supply and demand, dude. It's like once those Crocs took off and everybody like started wearing them, it became a fashion statement, and you got the little buttons you can put in them, and you got all the different colors and whatnot now. Supply and demand. They know people gonna buy them, especially when the kids get rap. All the kids all those like 19, 20-year-olds that I was telling you about that I work with, or the young kids that come in and play hoops, they come in with their Crocs on and they got their sneakers in their hand, and then they switch out and hoop. Their sneakers don't touch the floor. They won't like that with me. Like, we was walking around in our basketball shoes in the 80s and 90s, and you like what you went to hoop in, that's what you wore too. And you might have another pair that might be your favorite pair of sneakers, but most of the time you was out all day, you was at school all day, and like, yo, you just end up at the gym, you was just hooping in what you got. it's kind of I love to see that culture though, man. Like they really love they love their sneakers, man. So I ain't mad at them. CK said the last top 10 was fire. The Leclerc is an all star. It really is, man. And I really tried to highlight that. That's really what, like, I tried to make that a point. Honestly, I think that was the cigar that's kind of started me sparking that top 10. I think that was the one when I really started jotting down some notes, like, yo, what are some other like flavor bomb cigars that are out there? I'm pretty sure that was the one. And I've been giving that out to a lot of people. I've been giving the luck of them out to people, just like, yo, if you're really looking for flavor in your cigars, and you don't have to go for these infused cigars. They got cigars like this, so it's just naturally to have a lot of flavor to them. And I think that's what did it. And what was kind of cool, man, if y'all weren't in the comments, I had the Mikarita Soccer Con as number 2. Steve Soccer actually commented on that, man, and thanked me for putting that one in the joint, man. So that was kind of cool too. That was a highlight for this week, man. So that was some love coming from, the big Papa Soccer, man. I can't be mad at that at all. The Herrera Esteli Brazilian Maduro was a pleasant surprise, man. I haven't had that, but I do rock with Herrera Esteli. They make good cigars. I don't talk about them enough, but they make cigars. I don't think I've had that one though. He said my favorite cigar right now is the Stillwell Star, number 1 aromatic. I do love the Stillwell Star right now, dude. I got a few of those down there. I haven't had all of them, but having that cigar the past couple weeks I think it's going to be kind of heavy in my rotation. Same thing with the Le Carême. Like when I want something that's really flavorful, that's really aromatic, and if I'm in that mood, that's going to be a nice cigar to go to. I really dig that one right now too. Good. I'm glad you smoked all of those Deadwoods, man. Get them up out of there. My family crazy over those Yeezy slides. Yo, it's so many of these Navy kids walking around in those Yeezy slides. If it's not those slides, they got the Adidas joints, the other, not the Yeezys, but the other Adidas joints, and then they got Crocs. Like you see them in that joint all day, and they got the socks up to their calves. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of seeing that they created their own vibe from that, man. It's a good look. Texas said the Silver Mesas and the Mikarita Blues are delicious. Honestly, that's kind of like my go-to right now. Like I had to force myself not to smoke all of my Mikaritas and my Silver Mesas, because and I try not to fanboy, but just for my palate, if I'm just trying to smoke something that's like just keeps me satisfied, that's kind of been my go-to. So I've been trying to calm down on that, man, because I've been talking about those a lot lately. Now they become my new Oliva Milanios. So I got to chill on that a little bit. Yeah, shouts out to Soccer, man. Michael said the Mil Diaz Marinetos LE, the 2023. I had one of those, Michael. I've only had one. And I was in a kick for a minute when I was smoking heavy on the Crown Heads too, especially the Mil Diaz. So I like what he was doing, kind of playing with all the different wrappers on that cigar, just trying to, do a lot of different things with the limited editions on that. I thought that was kind of fun for a minute, man. And that's a good look. I can see why that one kind of caught your attention. Have I tried Lucky Cigars, man? I've only heard of Lucky Cigars. I haven't tried it. And, so if you got one that I need to look into, let me know, and I'll look into that. Texas said, if I tried the Umbagog, yes, I absolutely love the Umbagog, by the way. I appreciate that cigar, and I love the concept that, Soccer was doing with that one, trying to make it a more rugged cigar that you can just kind of have as a yard gar. And, if you're going out fishing or if you're just kind of chilling. But the flavors on that cigar is kind of like, a stepchild to the Mikarita. And it's a nice blend. So he's just taking the stuff that he's not using for the Mikaritas, he takes those and he just used those leaves to make the Umbagog. It's just a smart thing to do. So it's no waste, and you're getting a really good cigar at a super cheap price. That's just brilliant, man. That's one of the things that actually kind of made me fall in love with what Soccer was doing. I love that Umbagog, man. Blue Liga Freak Show. I don't know that one, Wes. I gotta look into that, man. If y'all get a chance, man, shoot me a message on Instagram or or email me, man. And so let me know like some of these cigars that y'all are mentioning, because if I don't know it, like I like to take a look into it and see what's cracking with it. He said he never messed with the Olivas until I had a sampler, and I was pleasantly surprised and enjoyed them all. I like Oliva, man. Like, I don't love them, but I like them. Like the Melanio is fantastic. The Oliva V is really, really, really good. And I need to do a comparison between the Oliva V and the Oliva V Melanio. And I think it was DJ that was sending me the video. Was it DJ Michael that was sending that video talking about the guy that was comparing those? Somebody said, I've been getting so much stuff, man. I'm on mental overload right now. But no, it was Kendall that sent that to me. That wasn't in that group. Kendall sent that to me. And the guy who makes Olivas was talking about which one he liked more between the Oliva V Melanio or the Oliva, the OG. And he actually picked the OG. I was kind of surprised at that. I like nubs. Nubs are kind of cool to have in the humidor when you ain't trying to smoke some of your best stuff and you just want to grab a really good cigar for a short smoke. I dig that. I think I got like one nub left. I don't smoke them all the time, but I do like to have them on hand from time to time. You said I can't. Scorp said I can't keep a soccer cigar. I always end up smoking them all. Same with the Atabes. And that's the thing. I honestly could have put Atabey on that flavor bomb joint too. But that's the thing, man. It's like those are cigars that like they fit my palate really well, and it sounds like they fit you really well too. So like I really gotta work not to smoke those. Like I really gotta like try not to smoke those. And Principle is becoming like that for me now too. It's a good thing to have those cigars that you can buy a box of, or you can buy in a 10-pack and 5-pack, and just kind of have as your daily smokers, and not in the sense of a lot of people when they think about the daily drivers, it's like there's $5 to $8 cigars that they smoke, and it just kind of gets you through the day. But I don't really smoke like that. You know what I'm saying? I really want to smoke like sometimes it's like when you're not doing reviews and when you're not smoking to make notes and all that kind of stuff, and you just want to enjoy your cigar. That Mi Querida is kind of like my go-to, man. And it's a lot of cigars from Foundation that's been like that. Principle has been that way for me lately. Like if I digging around, that's really what I'm gonna grab. The 1910 as well too. That like I've had a lot of those because a lot of those have come in to me through the Cigar of the Month clubs and all that kind of stuff. But when I just want a real mellow smoke, that 1910 has kind of been the one. I smoked a lot of those in the past month or so. A lot of them. It's crazy how much of those I've smoked. If Atabey was like super affordable, that would probably be daily too. It really would. And that's the one thing about those Atabeys. They cost so much. I can't constantly smoke those like that. I feel you on that, but man, that Parado for me, man, is the one that I like the most, honestly. And with DJ and with Matt, man, we've been going back and forth like everybody likes a different one, but just the flavor profile for that. And I feel you on $16, but I'm looking at that range like 15 to 16 is kind of where a lot of the soccer sit, and it's all Mexican tobacco. If I didn't like that cigar so much, I would probably complain about it a lot more. You know what, man? I've been looking for my man with Black Box to get back with me, man. And he's been focused a lot more on 505 cigar reviews, and maybe it's probably me, man. I probably haven't been attentive enough because it's another dude with Carolina Cigars that I want to get with him too. And we've been talking behind the scenes, but I think it's more me that I haven't really been like, hey, let's really work together. I haven't like pushed the envelope enough just because I've been so overwhelmed and kind of busy. And I'm not good just communicating like that. So I think that's on me, man. I think that's more my fault than it is with Black Box. I got nothing but love for that cat, man. I got nothing but love for that box and their Cigar of the Month Club. Yeah, Carolina Blue, man. Like I rock with that dude heavy, man. He's really cool, and I like what he's doing with his cigars. I love the way I'm hoping he blows up, man. And he's been talking about sending me something, so it might be on the way. So hopefully I have some reviews of those coming up soon, man. I love his branding. I love his dedication to his cigars. I love his approach to blending. So I'm kind of excited to actually smoke those cigars and do some reviews on them, man. So we're gonna see. So I need to reach out to Black Box Cigar as well too. I'm gonna get at him, man. It's just I got to get my ducks in a row first before I do that. Justin, what up, man? Glad you jumped in, man. I'm just glad you're here, man. Appreciate you for coming in, man. You keep it, kind of lit in here, man. I appreciate you. What is Sanj stuff comparable to? God, Michael, if you still in here, help me out with that one. What can I compare Sanj to, man? My brain is kind of saying Tatuaje in a way, but I think he's more flavorful than Tatuaje because you get a lot of woods, you get a lot of spices in there. But that Connecticut, man, I just had a Connecticut yesterday, man, and I had a Connecticut in Lancero, and this was the first one that just like really just kind of blew me away with like how flavorful it was, and because usually the SP 1014s have been the ones that I've been kind of leaning on the most. I'm gonna have to smoke it again, man, because that's a really good question. I'm trying to think of who I compare it to, and I can't really think of anything like off the top. I can see Crown Heads and Foundation is a good way to say it, CK. I think that kind of works. I think that's a lot better. That's a lot better than what I was saying. I think you're right. I really agree with you on that. I agree. But man, with his price point, dog, like I'm really enjoying it. And y'all know I rock with Crown Head, so I think that was a good point right there. CK, that was on the money. That was fire. You see, Texas said I never had a Lancero, but I'll have a Sanj Lancero. Yeah, man. For me, if I'm gonna suggest two Lanceros to you, I would say Sanj's Lancero for sure, and Aventura's Queen's Pearl Lancero. Absolutely outstanding. I love both of those. I thought they were just really good. What would I say the top three flavor notes from Sanj, man? To be honest with you, man, each one of his cigars are completely different. He gives a nice balance with the spice on there. Um, there's a good amount of like they're all different. Dang, that's hard. They're all there. That Queen's Pro is crazy. Yeah, I think Michael. I think CK was on the money with that, homie. I think he was on the money. Um, because the SP 1014 kind of gives you like that sweet spice. The black gives you kind of like the darker, spicier notes on that, but it's still really balanced. That Connecticut, man, you get a nice amount of sweetness on that, dude. It's they're all different. They're all really different. Sorry about that. My signal went out, fellas. I'm back. But yeah, Michael, you were on point with that. But they give you a little bit of the spice in there too, man. So it can be like a cinnamon spice, it can be the bacon spice, it can be the pepper spice. So you get a little bit of everything, and that's what really makes Sanj what Sanj is doing right now really good. And a lot of the people that I really enjoy as far as their blends, be it John Huber, EP Carrillo, Noah Rojas, Saka, Nick Melillo. I like guys that when they're blending, I see what Wes, but look, a lot of people when they're blending, like each one of their lines give you something different. There's like a nice bass line in there, so you can kind of feel like, okay, I know I'm smoking a Crown Heads right now. Hold up, man, my setup is falling. Give me a sec. I didn't want this thing to overheat. So, let me give him the light too. Hopefully that sun won't bake me this time. But I like when you can have a baseline. It's like, okay, I know right now And I just crushed this Regius, dude. Look at that. I sat on it and didn't realize it. Um, I like to see when people have a nice little baseline, like their baseline might be the earthiness, or their baseline might be the chocolate notes, or their baseline might be the wood, and that's what you get from you're gonna get that baseline out of Crown Heads, or you're gonna get that earthiness from Steve Saka, or you're gonna get that same thing from Nick Melillo. But then each one of their cigars goes off on a kind of a different tangent to make it kind of taste like its own. I feel like Sand is in that same lane. I feel like he's doing that too. Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. I understand you're a little bit behind. I think I'm behind on my own life. It happens sometimes. Were you talking about a magic toast? Texas, what you talking about? I talked to Hawaii Black Petite Lancero. I never had that one, dude. And it's probably been a year since I've had the black in general. I just saw that on Instagram the other day. I was going through Instagram trying to make sure I wasn't forgetting any cigars for the top 10 list. I'm trying to make sure it's something I hadn't forgotten. And I saw that I had that black. I was like, damn, it's been a year since I had that cigar. I never had it in Lancero, so that's one that's worth trying. I didn't really like the Drew Estates one, the A. I was kind of disappointed in that cigar. But there's some good Lanceros out there. But right now, man, that Sanj one was killing it. Michael, was that you that slowed my stream down? Is that what happened? B. Alexander's in the building. What up, man? It's Friday night, smoking an Oliva V in Corona. That's a good look. We were just talking about Oliva just a moment ago. Short finish, tasting good. Yeah, I was just talking about I need to do the comparison between the OG Oliva V, man, and the Melanio. I got a couple downstairs. I need to get that cracking. It's really hard to do the comparison videos, man. I got a lot of them lined up. I got a shit ton of them lined up. J Tempo, what up? But the problem is just having the time to smoke 2 cigars and then to be able to edit the review, put them together. Because when I do that show, I actually do a rating on them and I take notes on each of the cigars so I can really do a comparison while I'm smoking them, just to kind of see how that goes down, to really give a really in-depth comparison. That's one of my most fun shows. I probably like doing that show more than I like doing any of the others. It's just so freaking time consuming. And that's the only real downside to that. That's why you don't see a lot of those. I want to do a lot more. I literally got like 2 bags worth of stuff down there. The LFD, the Lennox, and the Soul. It's a couple Aganorsas that I wanted to do. It's really like 2 bags down there, stuff that I want to do a comparison on. I just haven't had the time to do it. And I really feel like if I did it, the channel would grow a lot more. Because I think when it comes to just people doing reviews right now and just like focusing on the review and focusing on one cigar and giving you the notes from that cigar, I think Matt and Michael with Master Your Ash got that on lock right now. And I really think they are so much better and so much more concise and eloquent, and their production looks so good on their shows that the focus is a lot better for them to do that. Like they are a lot better in that sphere than I am by a long shot. And I'm really proud of those dudes. I'm really proud of like the work they put together, and I'm proud of like their consistency and their approach to it. I don't know if I can completely stop doing reviews in general. Just like that, just one cigar, me and the camera smoking that one cigar and giving a review. I don't know if I can completely stop doing that, but I probably should slow down and put a lot more focus on doing the top 10s and doing the bias guys. It's so much work in doing that. The top 10 I can get out like this. That's not hard. Once I get my notes down and I get the cigars that I really want, and I really feel like it's a comprehensive list, then that top 10 video, I did that in one night. And it's so rare that I can actually just like record the video, edit, put everything I need into it, and get it released all in one night. That's the only one I can do that. When I'm doing like the bias guides, I can kind of do that a little bit when I'm doing the ones when I'm doing the brand comparisons. But if I'm doing, the cigar comparisons, that that take that takes a little bit more time. Let's see. Hey man, appreciate you, Michael. But don't do that, bro. I appreciate you. I'll see if I can find that, man. I appreciate you. The best, dude. So Ricardo said I had to put out the Ivo wrapper was completely off. Yeah, man. It ain't no need to mess with that, man. If your cigar is unraveling, it's just falling apart, man. Just shut it down. Just shut it down. And I would take pictures of it and I would send it to him too. CK said, I would like to see someone do a video on the best legacy brands that are still producing bangers, i.e. Monte Cristo versus Punch. Punch I agree with. I totally agree with Punch. And I'm shocked that I feel that way. Because I didn't think I was gonna like Punch like that. But I just happened to, get a couple in a cigar a month box. And I had a couple that was just laying around in the humidor. And when I lit them bad boys up, I was like, oh, these are pretty damn good. Monte Cristo was kind of hit or miss to me. I don't know if you've ever had the what is that, La Ciudad? It's some musical term. I don't know what that shit is, but it was Monte Cristo in combination with Crown Heads. That cigar was absolutely phenomenal. That thing was damn good. But a lot of the Monte Cristos don't really move me like that. But yeah, that is a kind of a good idea. I would have to do a lot more research because honestly, I don't smoke a lot of those heritage brands. Cohibas, I don't like those too much. So, but the Punch has been the standout to me. That Diablo, man, if you're really into that those really dark, heavy cigars, that Diablo is pretty good. I haven't had one in about 2 years though, so I don't really know if they still legit like that. Appreciate your love, B. Alexander, on that Flavor Bomb video, man. I didn't know it was gonna take off the way that it did. I'm actually kind of surprised that it took off the way that it did, man. It really was like it got a lot of good feedback, and I try to be like a counter when it comes to doing a top 10 list because it's so easy to just do a list, right? But they're really consumable, and that's why I like to do them. But I like to do them in a real informative way. I try to be really quick with what I'm, describing for those cigars. But I feel like you get a lot of variety. If you're shopping for new cigars, I feel like that's one of the best shows to go to. Not tooting my own horn. I'm really not trying to. But I really try to put it together. Like if I was watching a top 10 list or a top 5 list or whatever top list, I would really want to get some kind of insights in that. And I feel like a lot of the bigger ones that were doing that for a period were only doing it to sell cigars out of their own shop. So they weren't really giving you really the advice that you needed if you're just trying to go, unless you're shopping with them specifically. And I don't have my own shop, man. I'm really like out here just like y'all. Like if I'm trying to get a really good, cigar, I want somebody to be informative to let me know like what's really popping out there, what's really good. And that's what I try to use that show for. So thank you for the love on that, man. I'm just glad that one kind of took off the way that it did. Matthew Ash said Matt's okay. Yeah, Matt's good. Like you ain't really gotta hype Matt up no more. You're too kind, bro. Everyone here, I'm sure feels the same way as I do. We enjoy the reviews and all the hard work you put into everything you do. I appreciate you, man. And the fact that so many people are here, man, and so many people come through on the lives, I think that it means a lot. But I really feel like, man, when I'm looking at y'all reviews, man, and the way y'all review cigars, man, I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of growth to do, honestly. And I'm not saying that just to gas you because you're the homie, man. I'm really saying it like I hope people appreciate what you're doing with the pairing and, the way you describe cigars, man, and the way the channel looks. I think is outstanding, bro. And I love to see the amount of growth that you've had in the past couple months, man. It's been a beautiful thing to see, man. Punch Gran Habano Nicaragua is a sleeper. It absolutely is, man. The Gran Puro, sorry, but the Gran Habano is good too. But yeah, and that's like I was hyping that up a lot, Ricardo, because I really enjoy those cigars, man. I think they're a sleeper for real. Iron sharpens iron always. Indeed, my friend, indeed. I haven't had any special Monte Cristos or Romeo or Julietas. Yeah, I really don't mess with those like that, man. I really don't get into them. Monty does have some gems. CK, I agree with you on that. The new Diamond and the Musica and the Especials and the Velvet Box. I don't even think I've had those, but it's honestly because I don't look to them as much. But I've had some that were really nice. And somebody was talking about the Epic the other day, and they were really into that. But Glorias are good. They're solid. I don't really get into them too much, but they are good. They're solid. I don't got anything negative to say or like really hype to say about them, but I rock with them. Somebody was asking me about those the other day, and I was kind of like indifferent with my answer. Anyone have the Punch Golden Era? I haven't had that one, but I would love to hear any of y'all if y'all had the Golden Era. I would try it. Because even like, when they were doing like the Chinese brands on that one, some of those are kind of hit and miss. Some of those are really good, man. Punch is solid, dude. I rock with Punch. This is so much fun so much fun. Thanks for doing it at a time people in the U.S. can catch. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do, man. I've really been trying to do it, and it's I got to get it pretty early in the morning here for us, or like real late at night. So I really tried to do that where y'all can like come on, man. I try to come on the weekend so everybody can kick back and vibe, man. So I can get a chance to actually talk to y'all. So I hope that works out. I got a lot of shit to do today, man. Um, I was just telling the fellas like my homegirl is going out to climb Fuji. She's leaving in the afternoon. She just called me a minute ago while we were on this live, man. I know she's probably mad at me, but she invited me out to climb Fuji with her today. And the weather has been really good for the past couple days to climb Fuji. And I bought all my stuff, man. I bought my waterproof pants. I bought my synthetic socks. I got to rent a backpack and my walking stick. And I'm getting a headlamp so I can go at night. And I'm gonna climb this mountain, man. But I was supposed to go on Tuesday, which I think is gonna be Monday for y'all. And the weather is gonna be really bad. I think it's a typhoon that's out there, and the weather is gonna be really bad on the mountain. So now I got to put my trip off all the way to the end of the week. So that I that gives me a chance to completely prep up for it. But at the same time, we're moving, and so like I'm trying to keep the house clean. We got guests coming over, so we got boxes everywhere. We got trash everywhere. It's a madhouse, man. Between this work, keeping up with the kids, trying to do the channel, your boy going through it, man. So you're probably gonna get a lot of top tens in the next couple, coming days or so, and I might do 1 or 2 reviews. So I'm trying to keep it going for y'all, man. It's a lot on your boy's plate, but I'm excited about climbing this mountain, man, and I want to do an actual blog for you so I can go back to my old channel that was defunct while I'm in Japan and get to the top and light up Eye of the Shark. That's the goal. I want to light the Eye of the Shark on the top of the mountain and just sit there and smoke my favorite cigar and then record it and then, kind of make a quick little blog video for y'all. Hopefully that'll take off. Hopefully that'll be really cool. And I hope y'all don't get mad at me, man, because I'm going to go through with this. There's a Cigar of the Month Club that's out there that I really feel like is doing some real grimy stuff. And I got some stuff that I want to get off my chest about that. I'm going to do a reaction video to that. I just got introduced to a couple videos where I just feel like the person that's in charge of this is really like being real condescending to a lot of reviewers. And I think he's being real condescending to his consumers. And I really don't like snake oil salesmen, man. Like, when it comes to this as a reviewer, it's not like I'm making money off of this. This cat's making money hand over fist. And I just really, I kind of feel like it's like taking money out of people's pockets and you're not being upfront and you're not being real with them. So I got some real stuff to say, man. I'm probably going to lose some subscribers. I'm probably going to lose some followers. And people are going to be real mad at me, man. But I'm going to get some stuff off the chest. And y'all know how I do. When I get to the point where I got to speak my mind and I want to say something that's on my chest, I don't hold back. And I'm going to call you out by name. And I'm going to really say what I got to say. And I just really kind of feel like I don't like the idea of people just taking bum cigars and then you smack a new label, fancy label on it. And you don't even know what you don't even know what's in your own cigars. If you know who it is, say who it is. You know, because I'm gonna talk about it later too. I'm just giving y'all the heads up right now that when I record and release this video, it's gonna be some vitriol. I'm not gonna be nice at all. And just the stuff that I've been seeing from this group, I'm just not feeling it, man. And it's just like you don't even know what's in your cigars. You don't know what's in it. You don't know anything about it. You're just coming up with all these different type of flavor profiles and these notes and stuff and describing what's in these cigars, and you're just making up shit. And it's some bullshit. And then you're selling it for all this extra money, and then you're talking down about other people's videos and like all people's videos aren't up to their standards and not as good as yours, and like that kind of ego and shit. Like I don't fuck with it. I really don't like it. As far as like Gurkha and Alec Bradley, I need to talk about them too, but nah, I ain't going to. It's another brand that's an actual brand that I got some shit to say about them too. I got some shit to say about them. Like, yo, like when you talking about like your cigars in a way that you're downing flavor profiles, like, oh, you're not gonna taste all this in a cigar. I'm just giving you a straightforward cigar, and your cigar just tastes like a paper bag. I can't let that rock, man. And then when you down in reviews, like, oh, you know, these reviewers are coming up with all these notes and all this other kind of stuff like that, and you're like, oh, you know, I don't have this in my cigar. And then you go on and change your opinion, talking about, like, I make cigars that you can taste. And I hate this contradiction. I hate the hypocrisy in it all. So I gotta call it out, man. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in. Like, I might hurt some feelings. And I know I'm gonna start some shit, and that's the reason why I'm bringing it up to y'all. So y'all just go ahead and be prepared, because it's gonna start a shitstorm without a doubt. If it doesn't, I will be shocked that it doesn't start something. And really, I had to think on it for a couple of days, because I'm not one out there to like start beef, because this person has never said anything to me personally. He's never said anything to me that would make me normally go out. But for me, I just feel like as a reviewer and as a consumer, I need to look out for the people who are spending their money on these cigars. I ain't really got nothing negative to say about Deadwood, man. I just don't want to smoke them. So nah, they can make their flavored cigars, man. They got a market. I don't feel like they're hiding anything from anybody. I don't feel like they're trying to, you know, make anything that is shady. The other one I feel like is shady. I feel like this Cigar of the Month Club is shady. I feel like they're like genuinely shady people. I'm giving them smoke, bro. You know what it is. I'm giving them smoke. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that I feel like I almost have to do it. All right, my battery's going down. Let me see if I can do this. You guys got to let me know if my signal goes crazy, and if my phone starts acting real weird and sounds and stuff like that, because I don't want the battery to die. CK, I really feel like it is worth the drama in this case, man. And I'm hoping that I can do it in an efficient way that you almost have to come clean. And I know I'm gonna get a, because the people who follow this group are almost like in a cult. So I know I'm gonna get a lot of vitriol, and it's probably gonna be people who are watching my channel, because you never know who's watching your channel. You never know who's following you. But I feel like I might alienate a lot of people. But I honestly, I feel like it's worth it. I think with the majority of them, though, I don't think I will be able to open their eyes to the fact that they're getting bamboozled, they're getting hoodwinked, they're getting led astray, that they're getting run amok. But I'm gonna try my best. Sorry, I keep getting up on y'all, man. I'm trying to stop my phone from overheating, man. Cigar Dojo? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But when I release this, you guys are gonna know exactly who I'm talking about, because I'm putting them front and center. They like a lot of attention anyway. You know what I'm saying? They like attention. So this is gonna give them the attention they want. Yeah, I had to pull out the Malcolm on that one, man. I had to go with Haj Malik Shabazz on that one. But yeah. So and that's kind of the way that it's gonna be too. Like I'm really gonna be on some Malcolm shit with this one, man. I'm doing it for the people. I'm not holding it back. It's gonna be it's gonna be the ballad of the bullet on this one, and that's just the way it is. Hopefully people are gonna vote with their subscribes and vote with their money, and they just don't allow people to hoodwink them like that, man. I just don't think it's a good thing. I think it's really unsavory, and I think it's a really disgusting act in order to do that to other people when you know you're selling something that you don't even truly believe in yourself. And one of the major things that they were talking about, they told this whole elaborate story about how they had this, they went to a tabacalera, and the guy went and he tasted the earth, like because he was so into his cigars and so blending that he actually picked up the soil and ate it, and it was like, okay, now the soil is perfect and it's just right for blending and all this kind of. Ain't nobody doing that, man. Why would you lie? Why would you make up a story like that? That's some pathological bullshit. Ain't nobody going and picking up a handful of soil, and if they are doing that, they're doing it to fool you. Like, nobody's really eating soil to say, okay, this soil is perfect and this is what my cigar is going to taste like. No. Anybody that is into horticulture, anybody that is into tilling their land, they know what their soil smells like, they know what it feels like, they know what it looks like, they know how they know the moisture levels. They're going to understand that. It's no reason for them to take soil and put it in their mouth. And then on the same token, you're going to contradict yourself and say that that you don't understand how people are tasting earth in cigars. Anybody who has been smoking multiple cigars, especially Maduros, if you smell them, a lot of times you can smell the Maduro. You can smell it on the cigar. And the most important thing is your olfactory senses. Yes, we inhale the smoke through our mouths, but without this right here, you're not going to get all the components from what a cigar has to provide. Your nose is going to be able to smell the earth. If you go outside into the woods, do you not smell the differences when you're in the city? Can you not smell that? Have you not gotten a smell so strong that you can taste it? And that's the same thing that's happening with smoke, and that's all that we're doing here. So how are you going to deny somebody the fact that they can taste earth? That's crazy. If you get an Amazon basin, you can literally taste that rainforest in there. If you've ever been in a rainforest, and y'all seen my neighborhood out here, I live in a rainforest right now. That same smell that I get when I'm walking through the woods, especially after it rains, is the same thing I get from an Amazon. So I just don't like charlatans, man. And it's always pissed me off. It's always been a thing where it's just like, don't con me. And don't con other people, man. It's you can get money without having to con people. I hate snake oil salesmen. I hate that weird car salesman that will sell you a lemon and then tell you that it's a Mercedes. Like, I hate it. I hate it, bro. So y'all gonna see a lot from that. So just be aware that when I go off on this tangent, I'm pulling out all the guns, yo. And then they said it was silly when cigar reviewers describe earthiness. Yeah, exactly. Michael, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm the only thing I'm saying, Joe, it's like it sounds like you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm referring to right now. So hey, we're gonna see once this drops. I'm gonna start writing that this week, man, and I'm gonna start breaking it down. It's just a matter of time. Like I said, I told you guys it's really busy, but I don't want to do that in a way where I'm just kind of winging it and throwing it together, because I'm going point by point. Y'all see on YouTube when they do like the reaction videos, when they're like actually watching the video, and then and they're reacting to what someone's saying. That's the type of video it's gonna be. I'm actually gonna bar for bar. I'm breaking down every bar that he got. Whatever. I'm breaking it down until it can't be broken no more. So we're gonna see how this goes. Look, here's the thing though, CK. Let's talk about marketing, right? Because two people that I feel like can really market their cigars is Nick Melillo and Steve Saka. Those cats, especially Nick Melillo, you really understand who he is as a blender and as a person just by looking at his cigars. You understand his love for reggae music. You understand his love for history. You understand his love for the tobacco history. And he puts that on his bands. And you can taste it in the blends. And you can see where he's going. He's not overselling you something. You know, he's not saying like, hey, look at this Transformer cigar. Right? Like, oh, this is the Optimus Prime cigar. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you see Saka talking about Silver Mesa, and he's giving you the breakdown for this Latin term that basically is a way about people coming together and a feast and enjoying the moment and enjoying the time and really appreciating that moment and the people that you're around. That's what cigars are all about, right? It's raspy and loud. Let me drop it down a little bit. Appreciate you. Listen, let me do this. Let me know if that's better. Is that better? Am I more clear? Give me the feedback. And like you said, CK, the trust is everything. But also, you want to be able to draw the people in, right? I look at it like this as reviewers. Take Master Your Ash, right? And his whole concept is pairing and, you know, putting the cigars with, you know, something like he's putting his whole business model with working in the liquor industry and his love of cigars and putting those together, and the concept of being able to understand blends and understand flavors and understand, thank you, bro, and understanding, you know, all the flavor concepts. When you see his thumbnail, you're looking directly at the cigar, you're looking at his logo, you're looking at the environment, and when you see that, when he turns on the show, that's what you get from the show. You know what you're getting, right? That's marketing. When I do a thumbnail, I try to go through the concept of whatever my video is feeling. I try to give you the cigar. I try to give you a color palette that matches that cigar and what they were doing with their blending. I try to give you a little bit of what is going to come into the review. I try to give you the music and the vibe, whatever I was feeling on that. So when you click on that video and I come on and I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is EKB TV. You're watching the Bennett Cigar, and we got X cigar. You know what you're walking into. You know what you're going to get. That's marketing. That's for me. Like when y'all see that thumbnail, you got to say, okay, I haven't seen this cigar, or dang, man, I like how this cigar looks. Let me take a look into this to see if this is worth me clicking on it. Now, if you're going to get a cigar that says, this is the Lord of the Rings cigar, and we got the Frodo, the fuck does that got to do with what you're smoking? But the only thing you know right now is like, hey, there's a new Lord of the Rings coming out. And you know people are interested in Lord of the Rings right now, so I'm going to use Lord of the Rings to sell my cigar. It ain't got shit to do with what you smoking. Oh, it's a new Ninja Turtle movie out right now, so let's take the Ninja Turtles and put them on a random ass cigar. Hey guys, this is the most special cigar that I've ever had, and this is going to be the best cigar that I've had in years, and it's coming from this particular tabacalera, and it has the taste of coconuts and armadillo, and it's just like, yo, it's bullshit. And the fact that so many people can't see that it's bullshit is heartbreaking to me. But then in another video, you're going to completely contradict everything that you were just saying. Texas, you're saying the alien cigars? They I don't know, because there's a couple brands that's doing something like that, and it's one of those alien brands that I absolutely love. So I don't know. The Frodo would have to be a shaggy foot. That's good. See, that's good. That's smart. That's good marketing right there. That's good. I like that. But yeah, man, it's just y'all can see, man. Y'all can see that I'm not happy with this, man. And like it really frustrated me, man. And it's one of those things that it got under my skin enough that it was like, yo, I gotta say something about this. I gotta rebut this shit because there's too many people, especially people who are new to cigars, that's gonna be wasting $12, $15, $16, $20 on a cigar that came from somebody's tabacalera that they were just trying to offload and they didn't even want anymore. And then you got this knucklehead that's just going to be able to put a sticker on it and say, yeah, this is my absolute favorite cigar right now. And, you know, I've never had a cigar that tastes like this when it's 1,000 other cigars that taste just like that. But the fact that you put rainbows and colors all on your bands, like, that's just crazy to me, man. It's crazy. So, yeah, when I talk about it, like, I got some shit to say. Y'all can see, like, I'm hot, man. I'm mad about this one. Lying about what they taste, one of the main reasons I stopped watching other channels. And look, I think this is an important topic, right? Because you can't, flavor is subjective. And a lot of things when it comes to flavor is going to be based on your experience and what your palate is. You can only explain to somebody something that you've smelled or tasted before in your lifetime. Now, for me, I'm not going to say that I got the best palate in the world, but I trust my palate, right? I do trust it enough that being in culinary school, I had to try a lot of things, and the flavor profile and the flavor building was my favorite thing in there. And when I'm in Japan, I'm tasting, I'm tasting the nori, I'm tasting the rice, I'm tasting the wines, I'm tasting the vinegars, I'm tasting all these different things, and it's expanding my palate. And when I go to a different country and I'm trying their foods, or I'm trying different Mexican foods, I'm trying coriander, I'm trying cilantro, I'm trying all these different things, and then I'm trying to take notes of that. But there are times when you smoke a cigar, you might get plum. You might taste that. You might taste Fruit Loops. You might taste lemongrass. That's something that they use in Fruit Loops. So you might taste whatever these flavors in there, and the flavor combinations when you get that confectionery sugar, or you get powdered sugar, or you get milk chocolate, you get dark chocolate, you get cocoa nibs, you get baking spices, you get cinnamon. These things exist, and most of these things exist within plants, and all of these plants are related in some form or fashion. That's just the natural genetics of life, right? I had a cigar the other day, the Padron 1964. And when I got into the heart of that cigar, it gave me this sweet flavor that reminded me of a flat soda. It reminded me of Dr. Pepper because you had the cinnamon in there. Now, initially, when you say something like that, it's going to make you kind of, feel like, yo, am I really tasting this? Is this really the flavor profile? But when you think of this, like all these different spices that they put into this soda to give it the flavor profile that it has. So yes, you can kind of hearken and you can kind of connect those dots. That makes sense. But when you got people just throwing random shit in there, like, oh, I taste mayonnaise. And it's like, motherfucker, what are you talking about, B? And you're doing a cigar that maybe has like 5 or 6 notes in it, but you're writing up this huge profile for this cigar, and you're putting in all these different notes just to make it sound good. And you really aren't tasting those things in that cigar. That's where I draw the line. I don't knock anybody for having a creative palate and being really descriptive, because that's what you want to do. You want people who are looking into this cigar, you want to be able to connect with them. It's like, okay, I understand these flavors that he's talking about. Generally you're going to get some form of a wood. You're going to get cedar. You're going to get oak. You're going to get mesquite. You're going to get something like that. You're going to taste earth. That is actually a thing because these are coming from the soil. If Cuban cigars have a Cuban twang because of their soil, that is a real thing. Say, for instance, when I smoke a lot of the Brazilian tobaccos, I usually get Brazil nut, and it's usually prominent for me. Why? Because that's growing from the same freaking soil. When you have these cigars that are rolled in banana leaf, if you're tasting banana, more than likely you're probably tasting some form of banana because that is the soil that it comes from. You're gonna taste that. But when you're just throwing out like, oh, I'm getting, Chardonnay in this thing and I'm getting this kind of red, fuck out of here, B. Get the fuck out of my face, man. And I know that flavor component can exist, but you're doing it from a cigar that's in a region that doesn't exist at all, and you're doing it in a sense that you're only doing it to make your stats sound better. That's when it's like that's super lame for me. Let's see. You said the red meat eater video pairing with the Wagyu was very interesting. I want to try, and it's worth a try, man. And so I really thought that was cool with the red meat lovers because to me that cigar did not provide a whole lot flavor wise. It was very umami. It was very savory, and you did get the mesquite and you did get the charcoal in that. But those flavors. That's Steve Saka doing his thing. That's what he got from that cigar, and it makes sense to pair it with the red wine because those normally, if you get a steak, that's what you're gonna eat it with, right? You're gonna, get a really good steak. You're gonna get a nice red wine, and honestly, that Wagyu took over the majority of what I was trying to do, man. That thing is so oily and it's so decadent and it's so fatty that it really takes all of your flavors out of there. But it was just kind of fun to be able to put that together and to test your palate and to go. And I think that's worth it for anybody who's trying to develop their palate to experiment and experience something like that. But you can't let somebody else tell you what it is. You really got to, pay attention. And sometimes you can go through somebody's notes and then it's like, okay, I'm getting toasted almonds. And you're like, let me see if I taste that. You might get it. You might not. But believe in yourself and believe in your olfactory system and believe in what you're doing so that way you can understand your palate and what's real and what's not. And I think it's a lot of newcomers that don't get that chance. They're just going by what somebody they think looks cool is telling them. You can put on a funny hat and then, you can dress up and make your video look all sparkly and whatever. But what kind of sustenance are you giving to your consumers? Yeah, so I'm going off of what you're saying right here, dears. Like it's a lot of those things. Like some people can see it, and I saw it early too. And I want to take my hat off to anybody that is like able to, see that they're getting bullshitted and they're getting hustled. That is a beautiful thing. If you said I understand we all have different palates, but you can tell when these dudes are just pushing the product. Some people can tell, yo. Some people can't tell, and it's a lot of people that cannot. And it's a lot of these bigger entities that are out here that, have these very elaborate shows and they got this stuff that they're trying to sell in the back and they're smiling in your face and they're jumping around, they're being loud and they're snapping their fingers and they're doing all this shit. And the only thing they're trying to do is sell what's in their inventory. I feel you. I'm talking about those dudes who say one thing in the video but they leave different notes. Those guys who want clicks and buys. We're talking about the exact same people, and it's a couple of them. It's one that I'm trying to go for that I got my sights on right now, but it's a couple of them. It's a few of them. I feel you. The thing with the good monthly clubs is where does it take you on your cigar journey? Are you a novice or are you a vet? Where do you want to go? Word up. What up, Kendall? There's those things where like you want to be able to follow that journey, and I'm not gonna say the name of this brand too, but there was one of these cigar of the month clubs that I used to rock with real heavy, and when they initially started, like they really would take you on a journey with those cigars that they had in there. They were bringing you new cigars, they were bringing you old cigars, they were telling you in-depth messages about the cigars and why they picked those cigars and why they put it into the box. And I think even for the vets and for the newbies, it would really help. Now, recently they've fallen off from that, but hey, I respect that a lot more than some of these bigger brands that is just trying to sell you just to sell you. So yeah, I totally agree with all that. You say you have that same cigar. Which cigar? Which cigar you got, Kendall? It's been a lot of topics for discussion tonight, man. And like when I started off, I was really just I was telling a story about this young kid that just got killed out here in Japan, man. And he's a dude that used to come to my gym, and he was a nice kid. He was 24 years old. He passed away, and it kind of broke my heart, man, that I didn't get this kid a chance. And for him, for his life to end that fast was kind of heartbreaking. But that was kind of the dark side. But the light side is there's another kid that I work with, man, and he and I just really been bonding lately, and it's just kind of cool that kind of have like a mentor relationship with somebody and a real friendship, man. It was just kind of cool to build that. And just being an old head now, I accepted the fact that I'm the old head, and this whole cigar culture, man, and being able to bond with people and to link with people is what this shit is all about. And right now, I'm just going off on a rant because there's a certain Cigar of the Month club that I got to roast in a video really soon, and I'm gonna cook them up. I'm gonna cook them up like Wagyu. So that's where we are right now. CK said, I see both sides of the coin and I understand it is what it is. I could call you and have a great talk. Yeah, man, one of these days, let's chop it up about it, man. We can have a good conversation about that. I would love to hear your insights. Genuinely. Oh, the one on the thumbnail? Okay, word. I gotta say I like this cigar, but I don't love it, man. It's funny, I totally forgot that I put up the thumbnail for this. Can't wait to watch this one from the beginning. Yeah, my man, appreciate you. What up, Rafi? We just chilling. So anyway, it's up to y'all, man. I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now. I'm gonna save the rest for when I really go into this dude line for line and bar for bar. The one cigar club I do not deal with anymore is the Cigar Club of the Month. And what's the reason behind that, man? Why don't you deal with them anymore? So the cigar that I'm smoking on right now, I did not light another cigar. It is the I just torched this thing. It is the Lampert Gold Limitada. I had a Regius that somebody gave to me. I'm gonna still see if I can smoke this shit, but I sat on it and I cracked it. So I'm gonna still see if I can smoke it. Hopefully I didn't ruin it. We're gonna find out. Matter of fact, I'm probably gonna put that on and light this one up. What you got right now? What are your choices right now, Rappy? Yeah, man. Like, okay, so CK was saying, I love how you enjoy cigars with no drinks. It allows you to really experience the tobaccos. It's all about the leaf, and I do that a lot. But you will see in some of my reviews, man, that I will have a drink with me sometimes too. Now, rarely ever is it alcohol. I don't drink much alcohol. I might have a glass of wine every now and then. But I will say that when you have something that is acidic, it can open up your palate even more. If you got like an orange juice, if you got like a cranberry juice, if you got the right soda, it can really, like, the acids allow your palate to open up. And this is something that I noticed on my own, and then I watched another video and the guy was kind of breaking down how that works, and I was like, I knew I wasn't tripping. But sometimes whatever you're drinking can completely overpower what you're doing. And I try to smoke the cigar first, and I really try to get as much as I can from the cigar before I start sipping. Sometimes you can really clear your palate, and you can actually, it gives you, you can actually, like, sometimes I have like a light LaCroix or a bubbly or something like that, and it refreshes the palate and it opens me up a little bit. So I'm of both schools with that, man. He said he got the DC Julius Caesar and my father La Bijou. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I'm biased, Rafi. I'm gonna tell you to light up that Julius Caesar any day. I absolutely love that cigar. And don't get me wrong, I like my father. That's a really good brand, and they've been kind of one note for me lately, but it's still good. So you can't really go wrong with either one of those. They said they handpicked your cigar for you. I got the same cigar for 3 months. Yeah, see, yeah, I wouldn't deal with them anymore after that either, man. But that's the thing that I'm talking about, man. And I kind of feel like a lot of these cigar of the month clubs are kind of struggling right now. I just feel like it's a lot of these purveyors are being a lot more selective with who they're giving their cigars to. And I feel like a lot of the product is a lot more difficult to get their hands on right now. So they're being real selective about who they're sending out to. So some of these cigar of the month clubs are kind of struggling, and that's why you're getting a lot of the same things over and over. I've been seeing this on a lot of people when they're doing their unboxings, that it's a lot of the same cigars, and they're doing like a lot of repeats or a lot of the same brands over and over again. It's not as diverse as it used to be. So yeah, that JC Newman is money, man. It's money. Sour beers are pairing with cigars, and I don't drink a lot of beer. I don't drink a lot of beer at all. I might have like a Corona, very rarely. I might have like a Bud Lime, but I do like sour beers. I absolutely. But see, I like sour stuff, and it's not a lot of alcohol in it. And I really feel like that acid in there can kind of give you that same type of thing. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So Luxury Cigar Club is one of the best. I like what I've been seeing from Luxury, so I'm not mad at that at all. Scorp said ports are great with cigars. Also, I've only had a port once. I don't drink liquor, is why I don't drink ports. But when I was a butcher, we were having this wine tasting, and they were passing out all these different wines, and we're sitting at the table, we're eating, and they're passing wines. And I didn't look at the bottle, and I just grabbed a glass and I drank it, and I was like, God damn, this is amazing. What is this? And my boss was laughing her ass off. She thought it was the funniest thing in the world because it was a port, and she knew I didn't drink liquor. So she wanted to see how I was going to react to it. That shit was delicious. It was fantastic. I just never would drink it again, though, because I don't drink liquor. But, they're fortified. Just enjoying a Mambacho Tierra, Balkan and the Toro from Nicaragua. I have not had that one, Mike, and I've been hearing good things about that, man. Enjoy that cigar, man. I'm glad you're kicking it with me, too. Much appreciated. CK said, I love how JC Newman keeps it simple. No 15 lines, just a few in his restaurant that doesn't do Cheesecake Factory crap like Rocky and Alec. Look, what you're saying right there is so spot on, right? And as a culinarian, that's a great analogy. I'm going to take y'all behind the curtain, and me and CK going to take y'all behind the curtain a little bit. When you go to these restaurants and their menu is as thick as a novel, and on every page you got 10 different items, how are you keeping all those items fresh? And if you got a stacked restaurant and you got 5 tops, 10 tops, 20 top tables, and this whole restaurant is full, how are you supporting all those people? How are you making food fast enough that you can get those people out so they're gonna be happy? All of that stuff is either pre-prepared and frozen, or it's just cheap product that they can throw together really fast and they can cook it and send it out really quick. That's the only way that's gonna work. There's no way you're gonna get the top quality like that. It's just not possible. Because most of the time, when people come in, most people when they order from the menu, they have their favorites and they're going to order the same things over and over again. So in order to have the inventory, to have something that people don't order all the time and you got to keep it, it has to be kept on ice. And a lot of the times their cooking standards are not going to be up to par. Their sanitation standards are not going to be up to par. So you're not going to be getting the best quality. If you go back and you look into these kitchens, you're going to be surprised at how the food is sitting out. It's sitting in temperature danger zones, and it's sitting in some risky places, or it's sitting in a way that it's just like wrapped up and preserved, or they're taking it out of the box, they throw it in the microwave, then they throw it in the oven, and then they send it out to you. That's what your food is coming out like. So you got to think about with these cigar to month clubs and with these cigar providers, it's the same thing. Now, the shelf life of a cigar is a lot better than a lot of food. Of course, we know this. But at the same time, it's like the quality control. Where are they getting these cigars from? How are they, are they getting the best of the best? You never know what you're getting from these people that got way too many options for you to get your hands on. But the other side of this token is the hype beast. When they can only get a few cigars because they're getting the seconds and they're getting the leftovers. And what they do is they're going to tell you that this is a limited edition and this is a limited cigar. This is a small batch and this is a boutique, when it's not any of those things, and they smack a new band on it, and then they tell you that this is the most Reserva and aged cigar that you've ever had. And that cigar, it might be old, but that don't mean it is aged. I can give you an old piece of steak That don't mean it's an aged ribeye. They're not the same thing. So yeah, you got to kind of keep that in mind. So I'm just taking you behind the curtain on that for a little bit. Yeah, man. I used to rock with Black Lion Luxuries too. I'll leave it at that. Um, let's see what else we got. Kendall said he's smoking the 2-year Macanudo Vintage Maduro 1997. That got some good age on it. You getting any flavors off of that cigar though? I'm getting hungry. I'm talking about food. My stomach started growling. I never really got into the Macanudos, man, because I never really got a lot of flavor out of those cigars. But I mean, yeah. But I think that's the Macanudo. That vintage is the one that gets the most love. My man said, "Teach, bro. Been a culinarian for 20 years. A lot of folks don't even cost the economics before this special in the community. Word up." Yo, that special might have been all the shit that didn't sell last week. Let's get this shit up out of here. We got to clear off the shelf. I can't front, man. I miss working in kitchens, man, but it's a lot of sleight of hands with the kitchens, man, especially those big name brand, those Cheesecake Factory spots, man. It's a lot of sleight of hand with those. I have a friend with a steam cleaning business. He cleans a few restaurants. Really opened my eyes to some of the companies, what the company serve. Yeah, man. Like when I was in culinary school, I think it was a spot called Max and Irma's. Y'all got Max and Irma's where y'all are, and I don't know. It was kind of like a school field trip type of thing. They took us to kind of see what the back of the house was like and how the brigade system worked, and the floor of the kitchen. And I went into that kitchen, dude, and they just had speed racks just full of food, just thawing out in the air, and they had rags laying everywhere, and they just had left out food. Nobody at the station, nobody prepping the station, and it's just food just sitting out. Everybody's uniforms was dirty. I was like, yo. And this is one of those huge, joints with the thick ass, menu and stuff like that. And they got food sitting in the wrong order. They got like uncooked meat sitting on top of pastries. And it's just like, what are y'all doing? What is happening, man? So sometimes, man, you don't want to see the Wizard of Oz, yo. You don't want to see behind the curtain. It's kind of crazy. But it's the same thing with the cigar industry, man. You got a lot of people that's selling y'all some snake oil, man. You got a lot of people just selling you anything, and they selling you mock tender, and they calling it tenderloin. And if y'all want to do the research on that, do the research on it. It's a completely different thing. You can call it tender. There ain't nothing tender about it. All right. We've been waiting for 2 hours and 18 minutes. So what y'all do? I light up this Regius that I broke, or do I call it a day? What y'all want to do? I hope this thing smokes. I crack the fuck out of this thing. Y'all let me know. What should we do? Thank you to everybody that hit that like button too, man. 24 likes on the live video is love, man. 14 people in here. I really appreciate all of y'all. Give me a roll call, man. Who's in here, man? Let me know who's in here. If you know, you know. I already know you're gonna say light up. We vibing. We always vibing. That's what we do. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all the best. Kenny said the Macanudo Vintage Maduro is getting pepper and chocolate and espresso. That sounds actually pretty damn good. Sound pretty good to me. Been getting a lot of coffee and espresso in a lot of these Maduros lately, man. That's been somewhat of a common thing. You know what's weird though? Is like I don't drink coffee. I can't even say I don't drink coffee anymore because I dabble a little bit now. But I'm not the type of person that's gonna wake up in the morning and they gotta make their fresh hot coffee. I don't do that. I ruined this cigar, man. Oh, but it tastes good though. Mm. That's cereal right off the bat. That's really nice. You lighten up, baby. You lighten up. Have y'all had Regis? Have y'all smoked a lot of Regis? I can't put that there. It's gonna be too much. Let me see if I can go this way. There we go. Have y'all had Regis cigars? Regis to me is very Cuban-esque. The first time I got it, Ron Will actually put me on, and I think it came out of one of the Black Line Luxuries, and I've been smoking them ever since. Somebody sent this one to me. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. If you're in here, let me know it was you. I think I kind of messed up my draw on it though. I cracked it. My draw is not good, but off the light up, that is definite oak. That I mean, that's almost dead on oak. And then you're getting cornflakes and hay. Let's see. CK said that I never had a Regius I liked. I don't blame you, man. This is one of those for me that I can understand why somebody wouldn't like them because they are very much in that kind of like very mild, very hay, earth based, wood based, and they're very kind of Cuban-esque, but they don't have that vegetal note generally that the Cubans will have. They're not going to have that Cuban earth, that twang. That is a very important detail, and they don't give you like Cubans will give you something like that'll surprise you. It would be a nice vegetable flavor in there. It might give you like a banana. Sometimes it'll give you the honey and all that kind of stuff. And some of these cigars that are trying to be very Cubanesque can't quite get that. And once again, that soil is very important. I food bar this cigar though. Look at that. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm not getting anything out of this, and I think I ruined a really good cigar. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try to keep rolling. Regis Gurkha. Now I ain't nothing like yo. I know I give Gurkha a hard time, man, and I'm gonna talk about this a lot more. I'm actually gonna smoke one. My man Jerome sent me. Matter of fact, y'all stay with me. Don't go anywhere. Stay with me. I'm actually gonna get that and light that up because I can't smoke this cigar. Let's light up a Gurkha right now. Let's see how this goes. Click that like button, y'all. I'll be back. Hey, yo, Jerome. Jerome. Put on that Bobby Womack. Bonus points for anybody know where that came from. How many people we got here? We got 15. I appreciate y'all staying with me, man, while I walk away to get this cigar. Like I said, Gurkha was my ish when I first started smoking. Now I don't like them whenever I have one. Matt, what up? Hey, Matt, look at this, man. I got a Gurkha I'm going to light up right now. Let's see how this goes. So this is the aged 18 years Gurkha Cellar Reserve with the authentic mark of honor. D Love in the building. What up, Doe? I ain't seen that homie in a minute. Dr. Claw is in the building. I'm trying to get us the benefit of the doubt because it's a figurado. But I'm not getting too much off of this. Let's see, watching the live at work, stopping by to show some love, man. I appreciate you, homeboy. Thanks for hitting that like button, man. Having one of the OGs with me, man. I really appreciate that shit. And we got the GOAT in the building. That Gurkha Shaggy Foot is very good, strong leather notes, which I enjoy. I do like leather from time to time. Wolf, wolf. When I tell you this thing is like a rock, like it's so firm. The draw is tight as shit. I'm trying to let it open up, so, but this ain't going well. And D-Love can't say I didn't drop boxes because I literally just took this out of the drop box. It's been in there for about 5 days. Oh. Oh. What the fuck was that? That was just bitter. Ugh. That tastes like chemicals. I look like Matt right now, yo. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to keep trying, yo. He said no judgment. Let's see what Matt says. Like, I think I muted my last comment because I used an expletive. Okay, I didn't see that. Asking why you're smoking the Gurkha. Hey, man, because I sat on a Regius just a moment ago, and my man Jerome sent this Gurkha out to me. He said it was really good. So I told him I've been telling him for a minute that I was going to try this shit. So I'm trying it. Texas said Gurkha is trash. You ever use the perfect draw to fix tight draws? Yeah, I got a perfect draw in here right now, man. I use it sometimes, but I've been kind of in a school lately that sometimes it can ruin a cigar more than it helps. Sometimes it actually does help out and alleviates the cigar because you can create a tunnel with that, man, and it's not a good result. This one, honestly, it might be necessary, but this was such a tight perfecto on that one that I'm gonna give it a chance to open up. But it's just like the cigar itself, like there is no give on this, none, like absolutely none. I mean, you can see how tightly packed it is. Like that thing is like extremely tightly packed. I don't want to judge it like right away. I'm actually trying to get into this, but that chemical flavor that I just had just a moment ago is completely gone. Now it just tastes like paper bag. That's all I'm getting right now. So let's see. Let's just chop it up, continue to vibe, and see where this goes. But yeah, let's talk about the perfect draw, man, because I really find that to be one of the more interesting inventions that kind of came along with cigars. And when I first heard about it, I was like, it was like a big deal for me to go out and get a perfect draw, and I bought it, and I used it a few times, and I used it to save a couple cigars. But sometimes, like Like if you have a really tight pack, or if you have a really big plug in there, and then when you get in there and you do it like one time, maybe two times, you create that tunnel, and the cigar can kind of burn kind of weird. So I hated playing that guessing game, and I really felt like, yo, if I got to fight with my cigar that much, is it really worth it to fight with a cigar that much? Like, should I have to go out of my way to do that? I would do it from time to time, but I try not to jump into using my perfect draw like right away. Sometimes you want to give the cigar a chance to open up. You want to give it a chance to burn properly. But this thing, I really don't taste anything, yo. I'm not playing. That Lampert was good, man. It was good. I thought it was gonna be more flavorful than it was. I think the retro hell gave it a lot more flavor, but it was really mild. Um, I don't know, man. Like with the Don Patrons, I enjoyed them, but they haven't been my favorite out of Lampert. I know you really rock with them real heavy, but I don't know. I think right now my palate has been really into a lot of these more complex cigars, and this wasn't complex enough for me. Oh, you heard they use linseed. Maybe that's it, man. I paint with linseed oil. That's I know that doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of funny. It just made me think of that. But maybe that's what it is, man. Maybe they should try coconut oil or something. Have I had McAuliffe? I have not had a McAuliffe yet, man. I've yet to have a McAuliffe, and I know Martina Meyer was like really heavy on those, and a lot of people have been, kind of doing reviews for McAuliffe and all that. I just they're nowhere around here. Like it's not somewhere that I can go and get a McAuliffe from here. And when I'm actually like buying cigars, like that's not one that I was like, oh, I got to get a McAuliffe. I've had it in my shopping cart once, and then over time I took it out and to get other cigars, and that's not really a cigar that people really send out to me. So I've never had a McAuliffe just by chance. So Rocky said he liking that JC Newman. That's a chocolate bomb, baby. You cannot go wrong with that Julius Caesar, man. I'm telling you, I love that damn cigar. Uh, B. Alexander said this is why I like Perdomo. Draw tested. It's nice to count on consistency. Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot lately, man. I know Perdomo gets a bad rap, but the quality is always there with that cigar. I never have an issue with a burn. So Matt said I had a very similar experience with that one. Very mild and just bleh, I would assume. Yeah, man. So especially to be that big of a Salomon, I was expecting it to have like a little bit more intensity to it. Even if it wasn't going to be like mild or medium, I was expecting like the flavors to jump off, especially with a lot of Lamperts. Like Lampert, you really get flavors out of that. And just that one, it just didn't have it, man. But hey, that's what you do, man. You smoke your best cigars. You try to see what's cracking. So he said he used the coconut oil to repair a torn bonnet. I never thought about doing that. Okay, not a bad idea. Matt said he'll load me up with a McQueefer. And you're like, nah, don't do that. You ain't got to. I do want to try them, man, but don't do that. Yeah, I mean, Kendall, I've heard good things about McAuliffe. I've heard bad things about McAuliffe, and that's one of those where until I get it for myself, until I smoke it for myself, that's why you haven't really like I haven't put it in any reviews, I haven't put it in any lists, I haven't put it in just any conversations that come up when I'm just talking cigars. Like it hasn't come up at all, just because I haven't had it. I don't have an experience to say either way. I just got to go on other people's opinions as of right now. So, and they haven't reached out to me like, hey, let me see you some of these cigars. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of them avoid me because I'm in Japan. A lot of people just like, we ain't sending him shit, man. We ain't trying to go through that. Not knowing I got a U.S. address, but it is what it is. CK says, I like McAuliffe sticks. I remember the Lancero. I really like the Dreamer. My favorite Lancero, Luciano. I was just talking about Luciano, and I was wondering what was going on with that. Like ever since they had a change when when they're not with Pichardo anymore, um, it's been kind of weird. Like a lot of this stuff that they were doing, the Luciano was really good. I remember when that first came out. I did a review on that some time ago, and the Fiat Lux was good. So they've had some really good moments. But I feel like they've kind of fallen off the radar a little bit. And I don't know what's going on with that. It seems like something's happening with them. Let's see. Yeah, I heard the metallic black was bomb, Matt. Just bought a fiver of the wide pandas today. Oh shit! You got a review coming out, homeboy? Kimmy said Perdomo cigars you have to smoke slowly. If not, you can overheat them real fast. I'm trying to think if I had that happen before. I mean, that can happen with a lot of different cigars, but usually, man, I can't think of when I've ever like had to kind of stretch or do anything out of the way for Perdomo. I'm trying to think back to a time. I don't know when that's really happened for me. I'm about to collapse along to draw on the cigar. Stay with me, y'all. I got the microphone still on. I'm gonna get my perfect draw. Empty. I don't know what it is. I taste absolutely nothing on this cigar. And you see how much I'm trying to smoke it. Like I'm struggling. Let's see. White Panda is the new Luciano. Joe Knows was talking about. Yeah, I remember we were talking about that, man. That's what I was hoping to see. You were going to do a review on it really soon. Let's see. Luciano blends the Piven. I never had that Jeremy Piven cigar. The Dominique Wilkins. I did a review on the Dominique Wilkins. It was solid. I had fun with that review, man, because y'all know how I am about basketball. Y'all know how I am about sports in general. And I love Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight, so I was really excited about that. And I was really hoping he saw that review. I was hoping that he was going to catch wind of that one. But I did like that one. I don't think I got the Adrian Gonzalez joint. But I did have the Fiat Lux. I don't think I had Tiago Splitters either, but I had quite a few of them. But that's been about a year, maybe a year and a half now since I really had a Luciano. My Perdomo Gordo went out like 4 times tonight. Was it really nice? Hold on for a sec. My daughter's here. What's up? You okay?
Yeah, it's some kind of liquid coming from the bottom of the cardboard.
All right, show me later. I'll check it out. Let's see. Texas in the building, showing love to Matt. Was Pippen a Luciano? Is that what that was? I know I never had that cigar, so I know Tiago, not Tiago. I know Luciano was doing a lot with like celebrities at that time, but it's kind of funny that a lot of those fell off. Like that's what I'm saying. They fell off the radar, and it's funny that CK that you even remember that Dominique Wilkins, man. Like a lot of people didn't even remember that cigar, and it was good. You know what was surprisingly good too was what's the Dominican baseball player that had his own cigar? Big Poppy. That joint, that was actually a pretty good cigar. I haven't had it in years, but I remember being surprised that was a good cigar. The human highlight indeed. Oh, so nice one lighting up that Yagura, man. I got a review coming for that one soon. I just got that cigar, man, and I'm kind of excited to light that up. I kind of wanted to talk about that cigar and kind of highlight the way that they're box pressed. You can't even call them box pressed, just the way that they're pressed. I think that's really cool. I like when blenders can do something different with the press on that, and I kind of wanted to highlight that and the Placencia 6.2. I wanted to kind of get into that because I like the octagon, thing, and it's just kind of cool. I know it's just aesthetic. It's not going to affect the smoke profile or anything like that to a major degree. I mean, it probably will a little bit like a normal box press can do, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's really going to change the profile completely on that cigar. But I do like the appeal of the aesthetic of that, and I think that's really good. And I've heard nothing but good things about that cigar, so that's one that I want to get into. Okay, so Matt said he enjoyed the Pippin. I might check that one out, man. That's one worth checking out. My evening was good. Okay, that's him and Matt going back and forth. I ain't gonna put y'all out there like that. Yeah, everybody showing love to that Yagua. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He said it's so much better than the knuckle turd. CK saying the Big Poppy was straight. Yeah, man, I didn't know if that cigar was gonna be good, man. But dang, it might have been 4 years since I had that. I know I was still in the States when I had that cigar, and it was long before I did the channel. But I remember that cigar being good. It was long before I did this channel. The Perdomo wasn't squishy or dry in the middle. Oh, that's weird, man. I never had that happen, man. Sorry that you had that experience with that Perdomo, bro. That sucks, man. So you said the agent that Yaga will take out some of the chocolate. Man, I'm tempted to put this bullshit right here out and go get that cigar. I'm not gonna do that, man. I already left y'all a couple times. I'm not gonna do that. So Kendall says suggested to start with the McAuliffe Gomez Sanchez family cigar. Okay, we'll see what happens, man. Because when it comes to that McAuliffe, man, I'm gonna smoke whichever one that comes to me first, man. Whichever one I get first, or whichever one comes to me first. Um, I missed that one. Recently, the Liga Privada H99 was one of my faves. Now, Rafi, that H99 was good. Matt actually put me on to that cigar. He was hounding me. See what I did there? Aha. He was hounding me about that cigar, man. And when I actually tried it, I really, really enjoyed that H99. I think the first time that I lit it up, we were doing a live together. It was the one that we had with Sanj Patel on for the New Wave Live. And I enjoyed that cigar. And I went back to it after that just so I could kick back for myself and enjoy it. Woof, woof. I went back just so I could dig that, man, and just to see if I really like that. And I can't be mad at all, man, just with the Liga Privadas in general for the most part. I know people were really, really high on the number 9, and it was cool, but the draw was always too open for me. I really enjoyed the T52 when I had that, and I think the first time I had that one was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in California when I had that one. So just getting around to that H99, that Ferro that I had the other day was magnificent. That thing was stellar. It was, and it's good when you actually get a cigar like that, like over some time, once you finally try it and it opens up and it turns into something fantastic. I had a good time doing that review, especially when I got into the heart of that cigar. It was amazing. I know I'm gonna kill Jerome though because this cigar is boo boo. What does Matt call it? It's a dog rocket. It's a dog rocket. I can't believe I'm about to put my mouth back on this thing after calling it a dog rocket. That's disgusting. Yo, D, I'm not sure what you were saying on that about the Yagua. You were saying something about getting it from the middle of the bundle. It was one word off, so I'm not really sure what you're saying on that one. Don't smoke trash. Go get something good if you need to. I might have to do that. So I had the H99. Yes. Dude, yeah, that's kind of a liability of people coming into the chat They see a live stream titled "Smoke Your Best Cigars" and you're smoking a Gurkha. Yo, the irony of that is just so beautiful, man. I did smoke one of my best cigars earlier, though. Gurkha Boo Boo. It is Gurkha Boo Boo for sure. Thoughts on the Parejo Padron number 96. I haven't had that one, man. I think every Padron that I've had that wasn't one of the 1,000 series was box pressed. Every single one of them. So I haven't had a Parejo yet. Let's see. Boo Boo can be my ranking. Maybe one day I'll use that, yo. That's not a bad idea. We need to figure out the next name, you know, for when you're no longer a new wave. Yeah, man, because we definitely we kind of ain't the new wave no more. You know what I'm saying? Especially with my old ass. The best crappy cigar. This thing, like, I couldn't tell you anything other than that chemical note. The big Kahuna, the big wave. I ain't mad at that either. It is what it is, man. As long as I'm kicking with y'all fellas, man, we talking good cigars, having fun, man. You can call us whatever, man. I'm here for it. My thing is, like, we not fooling the people. We not scamming the people. We ain't trying to sell them nothing. We just dudes enjoying cigars, man. And that, I think that's really important. This thing at the top, man, like, feels like a knot. Like I'm squeezing. Still wavy. We always gonna be wavy. So that works for me too. Gurkha Ghost made by AJ Fernandez is one of the best smokes. Yeah, Matt did a review on that on the Ghost. He actually gave that some love, man. I don't know who blended this cigar, but I want to punch him in the nuts right now. Real hard. Just one good time. Because this is trash. It's boo boo. I'm finally getting some smoke out of this, and I still can't taste anything. All right, it's a little bit of oak. This is so garbage. It's a bad aftertaste. Yeah, he said the Ghost Connecticut wasn't bad. Ah, God. Ugh. Here's the thing, like, it's so easy to say, like, this cigar is bad and this cigar is not bad, this brand is bad and not that bad. But I just smoked a cigar that I would say was mid, and I smoked it all the way through. And I was able to get something off the retro hell and kind of enjoy it from the most part. But then to go from a mid cigar to a cigar that you feel like it's just horrible, that really tells you when it's a bad cigar, man. Like, there's nothing redeemable about this cigar right now. Nothing. But y'all cannot say that I just shit on Gurkha and never try them, because I'm doing it for y'all live right now. I really gave it my all. Shouts out to the 30 likes that's on this too, man. Like, I'm still trying to smoke this thing, and it tastes like oak and paper and despair. I think the most prominent note out of this that I'm getting on the retro hell is despair, and just it just makes you hate life. He says, "So I never had a Gurkha and never will now, man." Like I can't blame you, man. You know, maybe try that Ghost. People have said good things about the Ghost. God damn it. I don't like the aftertaste is just pasty and like paper mache. This is horrible, bro. I'm thinking about buying the Avo Season Summer Limited Edition 2023. Kendall, the only person I know that's really had those cigars for the seasons with Avo is John with Cigar Alchemist, and he's just like, for the most part, he's been saying that they're mid, but he's been trying them. I haven't had the desire to actually go out and get those. Once again, if that comes across, I want to try it, but I just haven't had the desire to go out and seek it out myself. I do appreciate Avo cigars for the most part. The last one I had that was sent out to me, the 2022, I wasn't really feeling that one, but they have some like the symphonies. I get the names confused. All the musical notes and all that kind of stuff. Those are real good. Shout out to LLTP Pickle. You telling me to stump on this cigar? I would, man, but like I really don't want to leave y'all, man. I'm really trying to like give this thing a chance, and I really don't want to keep leaving y'all doing the live. I've been going for about 3 hours, man, and y'all been supporting me, man. Y'all hitting the like button. We got 16 people in here. I'm trying to keep the live rolling and still have some kind of content, man. I don't want to be that person. So y'all can sit with me in my moment of despair. I'm really doing everything I can to kind of get some smoke out of this bitch, though. Okay, I got some pepper. There you go. Got something. I want to buy a Gurkha Grand Reserve, but never smoke it. It's a historical cigar, allegedly. What's the story behind that LAW law? What's the story behind that? Tastes like regret. It definitely does taste like regret. Like I'm getting regret all across the palate, across my lips. It's kind of sitting in the sinuses and just kind of hanging around there for a while. That regret is probably the longest finish on this cigar. Goddamn. CK said you let it now smoke it. Hey, dude, you don't see me suffering enough right now. You ain't got a dog pile on the dude, man. Is there more to the cap left? I could probably cut it down a little bit, man. But like the knot is like right here, right? So I can take all of this off. Let's do it. Let's do this shit. Fuck it. Open it up a little bit. I still got to kind of work at it. God damn it. You ever smoke a cigar and you get that kind of pasty taste? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like it doesn't have flavor. It's just pasty. The smoke is pasty. I didn't catch up with the comments yet, but I'm seeing Clinton Lewinsky. I already know this shit about to be crazy. Whatever y'all talking about, I know this shit can be nuts. Ugh. It would be disrespectful to Monica Lewinsky to do anything with this cigar. That lady don't deserve that. This is when I dip the end of the glass in Grand Marnier. I'm from the hood, so I would probably just have to pour out a whole bunch of Hennessy on this motherfucker. I don't think y'all ever seen me gas face from a cigar. God, ugh, despair. Throw the thing in Mount Fuji. that might be the way to go. Texas, you saying you up out of here, man? Oh yeah, he in the building. He in the building. He's saying he here. Was the brand champion cool when y'all were in school? You would get lit up in my day for wearing it, but I just found out that the Gen Z loves it. So let me tell you about that, man. If you know, you know. That's a good question. And goddamn, this thing is disgusting. Okay, so what you could do with Champion, because Champion released some sneakers back in the early '80s, and there was a short phase where people were buying sneakers out of the East Bay magazine. So you had like Brooks, you had Saucony, you had Champion, Asics, and you kind of had, there was all these other brands like Troop, British Nikes, all that kind of stuff. Anything that wasn't Nike, Adidas, Reeboks. So you had people that was kind of stepping off to do different, sneakers or whatever that were kind of like outside of the box. And if you got a fresh pair, then you were cool. So there were a couple of champions during that period that was cool. But if you weren't like working out and you weren't like hooping or playing football or something, and you were like rocking Champion as your regular gear, and it wasn't Starter or it wasn't Nike and Adidas or whatever, then you would get roasted. You would get clowned, and it fell off. So I would say in 2018, 2019, right when I was leaving the United States, there was a group of people that started wearing Champion, and Champion was becoming popular all over again. That's around the time where it started getting popular all over again. When I got here in Japan, Champion is everywhere. They love Champion out here. I did a whole video about Japanese fashion about maybe a year or two ago on my other channel. And they rock Lee Coke Sportive, Champion, Avarex, Asics, especially the Onitsuka Tigers. Shouts out to Bruce Lee. And it's a couple more stuff that you don't see in the United States anymore that they rock real heavy here in Japan. And it's kind of cool. Like if you go into any of the department stores, you're going to see Champion everywhere. If you go into Tokyo, it's starting to fade. I think in the last year, so it's starting to fade out a little bit, but you still can get Champion hoodies, Champion sweats,